Your water.
pH, it's really good water. If you need to use a bathroom, if you just follow the road around the house, and continue down, you see a wooden building with a green roof on the left-hand side. That's the restroom. You're welcome to use it. If you have questions, I really welcome them. They're never an interruption. If they should come to you, please ask, because they're many times very beneficial and really helps me be on track. And so I really appreciate and thank you for your questions. So they're a real blessing to me. Okay. Why I do this is that I've been gardening since I was 5 years old. That was 63 years ago. And the only 2 years I missed is when I was in the Army. So for 60 years, I've been gardening. So I do have a perspective. And I worked really hard to fail for a lot of those years. I mean, I was diligent. I had wanted a garden. I was into it, but man, I worked hard to fail, really hard, and it was very frustrating. And then I moved up here and found I didn't have water. And I asked the Creator how I could use the water. And he took me out to the woods. He said, "Come out to the woods. I'll show you how to use that water." And it changed my life. Totally changed my life. I realized everything I was taught about my doing was stupid and didn't work. When I saw how amazing the covering was. The covering is so significant in nature. If you look in nature, every living organism in nature has protective covering. You see those dogs, they have fur. You know, we have skin. Birds have feathers. Fish have scales. And the soil is a living organism. And nowhere in nature where man hasn't been is the soil ever untouched. Are you following me? Nowhere in nature where man hasn't been do you ever see exposed dirt. It only happens when man shows up and says, "I'm going to tame this. I'm going to grow things." And the idiot, not realizing before he showed it, it was growing great, he rips the cover off, and then now he has weeds, and he's killing himself and going backwards. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. And these farmers today, I mean, I feel so sorry for them. They're spending more and more each year to produce less and less. That's their reality. They spend more each year to produce less. And that's how they live. And I think it's okay. It's insanity. Total insanity. We're here under this environment. I do less and less each year and get more and more. I love it. It's so fun. It's just like, really? And every year my produce gets bigger and sweeter. I love that. God's not static. And the reason is, you see, this material lays on the ground and it's composting. As water goes through it, it creates compost tea that feeds the soil. And what I'm seeing is more is going into the soil and the plants take out. So every year, it's better. It's better. It's better. Non-ending. I had the most interesting conversation with the Creator last year. I had arugula in my garden. You know, arugula. It doesn't get very big. It's not supposed to, according to what you're told. But I had arugula in my garden. I think my neighbors, I couldn't believe, but I had arugula with leaves 1 foot long, 4 inches wide. Arugula. And I'm saying to the Creator, what's up with this? And he told me, this isn't going to end. This is not going to end. It's awesome. It just keeps getting better because we can't help it. It's just so fun. And it's so encouraging. You feel like, it's so good. Anyway, we'll walk down. You're going to see some beets here. You're going to see beets you've never in your life ever seen so big. The greens and the beets themselves. And what's amazing to me is last year they weren't that big. It's like every year it just keeps getting better and better and better. So cool. Now you see this space you're walking on here? I want you to notice as you walk on it how buoyant it is under your feet. I want you to notice what's out on top of it, all these cars. This happens every week, and my wife's a midwife, and we come here for their prenatals. And this material cannot be compacted. It's impossible. You hear me? It can't be compacted. What I discovered last year is that compacted soil is dead. You take the covering off the ground, the soil compacts and it dies. It's huge. Where living soil can't be compacted. You can bend over your hand, you can start moving that. Look at that. Just effortless. This is that, and you see how quickly it's starting to get damp? See how the moisture's there? It's awesome. It's just so fun. So the whole concept of preparing soil doesn't exist in the living environment. So I want you while you're here today to anything you see you want to eat, enjoy. Because I really want you to experience what real food tastes like. This is really good. And you're going to find everything you eat will be sweet. I have nothing bitter. I asked the creator about bitter food because when the film first came out in 2011, it came out in August, and a lot of farmers come here all over the country, like in February, and all I had to offer was a little sponsor. And I had, tons of people coming, and they all say to me, how come this kale's not bitter? I need these stems, they're usually bitter. How come this is? And I keep hearing this over and over again. I kind of sense I'm supposed to learn something. So I asked the creator, what he told me really was awesome. Why don't you look at my body language? He says, when plants grow in compacted dead soil, they're struggling to live. And they're expressing in their flavor their bitterness. Did you hear me? They're expressing their bitterness. They're bitter because how hard life was. Conversely, when plants grow in nutrient-dense, loose soil, life's sweet, it was easy. And it tastes that way because it wasn't hard. Nature's so real. I love it. No lies.
Right? Because analogous to people.
Yep.
Well, I would assume that you're not bitter
I'm not.
about your health issues.
You know why? Because I read the owner's manual. And the owner's manual gives us some very, very important instructions. It says in everything, give thanks. You know what everything leaves out?
Nothing?
Nothing. And I'm so learning. You see, if I was whine and complain, I can't do all that. Why is that? So what's wrong with you? What do you say? God, we're still getting stuff done. This is good. This is awesome. This is doing is making me become more understanding and considerate and compassionate. When I used not to be so good. This is awesome. This is like temporary because I'm going to be traveling the speed of thought forever, so this is not going to last long. And eventually I think I'm going to get healed, so I'm good.
Do you ever give talks to youth groups about this? I think that would be good.
No, but I don't travel well, but I would be glad to tell anybody. But I'm just telling you, I've really learned from experience. The owner's manual is really sweet. We need an owner's manual. We need help, and that book doesn't miss anything. Just for example, you know the importance of gut flora in your stomach. How important gut flora is for your gut. How without it you don't digest food, you're not well. You know the Bible talks about gut flora? Yeah. In a very common passage that you don't connect the dots. Paul's writing to his son of the faith, Timothy, and he gives him some instruction. He says, Timothy, drink a little wine for your stomach's sake, gut flora, and your mouth fertility. Timothy, you're sick all the time because you have no gut flora. Wine, which establishes gut flora because it's fermented, you don't get nutrition. Nothing's missed. It's all there. It's awesome.
I want to see how easy these come up.
There you go.
Well,
Not hard.
don't need a weed puller or nothing.
Now here, I want everybody to notice this. You know what time of year this is? This is summer,
Weed season.
and it's not been raining. Now, I want you to notice this plant here. Does it look to you like it's struggling?
No.
Does it look like it might be kind of healthy, like
Yeah.
dark green, plenty of nitrogen?
Yes.
Realizing it hasn't rained, this is summer, and a seed blew in on top of these wood chips, and that happened. I don't know about you, but this gets my attention. I'm a gardener, and I know how hard I work to try to get that when I used to till and fertilize,
Right.
and I did nothing. This happened accidentally, from my perspective, and looks far better than the stuff that I used to work to do.
Right.
You know?
A lot greener.
Yeah, and
and
so I mean,
healthier.
it speaks volumes to
The
me.
whole-
I just love that. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. Now get around it. So I want you to see something. Go around it with your hands. Loosen it up and pull it up. And get the root system. I want you to see how large the root system is. Now go ahead and get around and pull it up. Now you see how far out those roots are reaching. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at all those roots on that tiny little piece of grass. You see, in dirt, you don't have a root system like that. And you see, this shows me the power of oxygen and the life force that's in dirt. Let me tell you, that's huge. And the reason why it's so green and healthy, because it can eat. It can take up nutrients. When you have compacted soil, you have no roots. I don't care how much you water, the plant can't take up, there's no roots. So roots are, I just get so off on looking at these root systems because they're so massive. Like, wow, it's so cool.
That's like a clover.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Could you find a 4-leaf clover for me then?
Throw it to him and
Maybe.
let him check it.
I'm being facetious.
Facetious.
There you go. Find you one.
You find yourself.
You find it.
You might get lucky.
Maybe.
So how many wood chips do you put down on this every year?
This place here, I just started. This used to be all grass, and I got to a place where I'm not mowing real well, so I used to walk in more. So I thought, well, I'm gonna cover with wood chips. You know what I'm seeing here? Besides being so comfortable to walk on, no mud, no grass to mow, that if things ever change, and we have a need to grow food, this space can become one amazing community garden instantly. And while I'm waiting, it's just upgraded. It's good. I mean, this whole space could be turned into a community garden right now. And I could grow unreal food here to feed incredible amount of people. So it's just awesome. The cover just is such an asset. It's such a blessing. It's so cool.
I watched your videos and I've ordered in mulch and I've had 60 yards that I've put down so far this year.
That's a lot. Good for you.
But I just put a whole bunch of potatoes and one lane, a 1 row, and I got 7 potatoes growing. I gave it no water whatsoever, and I live in Spokane.
Don't you love it?
And
Oh, and
I
that's
was
in
just excited.
Spokane.
I was
Wow.
just excited that I didn't put any water, and I didn't do it until June, and I got.
I would encourage you to keep watering, and you're going to get a lot of nice potatoes like water.
Yes.
So if you have water, and you're going to get the best potatoes.
I do have water, but I was trying to see just what it would do.
I'm just telling you from experience. You're already seeing it's working, so help it.
She's got that much mulch because she's trying to kill weeds.
Yeah,
And it'll work.
I have a ton of weeds in a big meadow. I don't know if I'll ever get it.
Well, if you get a put 8 inches or more wood chips will take out the roots.
I hope so.
So 8-inch layer on
It's,
top.
it's all about suffocation. Listen, if plants don't have light in there, they die. It's so basic. Everything has to have light in there. When you take that out, it dies.
Well, it's been an adventure for myself.
It's cool, and you're going to find it's going to get fun. It works, and it's very encouraging.
It's
And when you harvest your potatoes,
lab retriever.
you got to hold out. Take your biggest potato, put it back in the hole, and cover it with wood
I
chips.
remember you on your video on that one, huh?
Don't
My
throw them.
husband did that right away.
And
from
through
what
freezing
you
and
said,
everything,
Paul.
it's okay, huh?
Well,
Like,
again,
put that biggest potato right back down. I
She's
didn't
asking
want
for
to.
freezing and everything.
But we did it.
Remember the term volunteers? When you harvest potatoes, you don't get them all. You follow me? And next March, you're seeing all these potatoes coming out all around you didn't get. They're called volunteers.
Oh, yes.
And they're way ahead of the stuff you're planting. And they went through the winter with all the freeze. Did you hear me?
I heard you.
It went through the winter with all the freeze they said would kill it, but it didn't. It's doing fine
Because of the mulch?
because it was covered.
Because it was covered.
It was covered. It's
I
all
even
about
had
cover.
a potato plants pop out of my blueberry plants that I have in pots.
Because it got there. It came
Where do
there.
you live?
I live in Federal Way, Washington.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
warmer than
She's,
me.
I'm on the west side.
So what kind of rainfall do you get here, Paul?
you get anywhere from 14 to 18 inches.
Yeah, and that's about the same as Spokane.
Well, we're in a rain shadow. You see 70 miles down the road, there's a rainforest.
Yeah.
It gets 14 feet of annual rainwater. 14 feet. Did you hear me? When the clouds come into Squim, they're empty. They dumped it all in the rainforest. They pick up on the way to Seattle water, but when they come across Squim, there's no water in them. You go to Squim right now, all the grass is totally brown.
Yeah, it's true.
Totally
We've
brown.
been here all week.
Because
It is dead
it
out
doesn't
here.
rain there. They dumped it all in the rainforest.
Well,
Even
that's
in
what gave me
Seattle, 'cause
courage
we
to
haven't gotten
want to
rain.
do, not water,
gotten
was
a
because I
Oh,
was looking at what
extremely dry summer.
what you said
We
about
You know,
have
and
water
these trees never get
once or
watered.
twice
But
a
what
day.
I'm discovering is that water's an asset, and it really encourages the composting process. So it's not a negative.
Sure.
And if you have water, it's a big asset. It's a blessing. You know? So you can do without it, but it just is an improvement if you have it.
Help break down the mulch.
Yeah, because you see dry mulch, like sitting up here. Let me just show you.
Dead.
It's not going to break down very quick because it's very dry.
What's this mostly from? Cedar?
This is cedar, yeah.
Is that what you normally would put in?
I put whatever I can get.
Whatever.
Glad for your question. You see, people will tell you you can't use cedar, you can't use pine, and you certainly can't use walnut. That's the worst. You follow me? But what I see in nature, when I ask the creator about the stuff he can't use, I love his sense of humor again. He says, I have no landfill somewhere off on the planet. I'm taking that stuff you can't use. And I started busting up. Everything in nature falls on the ground, no one removes it, and it turns back to dirt, everything goes fine. So to help me, he had a tree service brought me a 10-yard truckload of exclusive walnut wood chips that he dumped in Squim in August, where it doesn't rain. Now I got a 4.5-foot raised bed, okay? 4.5-foot raised bed. Pile of wood chips. No water, August. And out of that pile starts growing this walnut, because the walnut tree didn't get broken. And I'm saying, you have my attention. And it was green, it wasn't yellow, no nitrogen tie-up. And this is in August, 4.5-foot raised bed with no water. And in October, it was 3 feet tall. My brother dug it up and went and planted his yard. He's got a walnut tree. But what I love about it is that it was full-on walnut, no water. I mean, everything should have not happened, and it did. And I'm getting is that I got lied to. And I'll use whatever I can get. You put it on top of the ground, it breaks down, and you're good. Here's the thing I'm seeing. You see, our problem is we own and we till it in. Then you have issues. But you see the tannic acid in cedar, which is toxic. Tannic acid is hard on plants. When that falls on the ground, through the composting process, by the time the material gets to the roots, composting is changing. The tannic acid is not there anymore. And what I'm seeing, the creator who made this, coming in place of all wisdom, all knowledge, didn't miss anything. You hearing me? He didn't miss anything. He made it perfect. And everything left alone, going through the compost process, ends up perfect. Because that's how, here's the word, from dust we came, from dust we turn. Everything we need comes back to dirt. It's the most beautiful recycling program I've ever seen. It's awesome.
Paul, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
We've been trying to get wood chips with the branches and the leaves and all that. And when we go to tree service or we see someone in the Seattle area, they tell us you don't want these wood chips.
You tell them I would like those wood chips.
Okay.
The disease is no issue. Like I say, in nature, diseased trees fall over and die. Are you following me? You get a drought, the forest turns brown and trees die. They fall over and die. And when it rains again, everything's growing green in that space. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Through the composting process, whatever disease issue is there is totally eradicated.
Before planting in it, do we need to wait some time?
I wouldn't worry about it. I just pull the wood chip. Here's the thing, again, you ask the creator. You ask him, can I plant in this? If you have peace, go for it. You have a check, don't. You can always trust peace. He'll never lead you astray.
What about pesticides they sprayed on it or anything like that?
If you look at this sky above me, it's pretty hot, it's not as white as not as blue as it could be, but when you realize the pollution China and the rest of the world is putting on this planet, and to have this clean air, this earth is amazing. It's huge. It's awesome. It's just incredible how things are. So I just have total confidence in whatever you have, give me. I don't care what it
Keep
is.
telling us no, you don't want this.
I do want it, thank you. And when you come back in a few years, watch what it does, so you can change your mind and realize that it's okay.
Okay. All right.
I have a little concern in Spokane. We have such fire danger right now. Do I have any problems?
No, here's what's so cool. I'm so glad for these questions. The girls who did the film, there's 2 young women who did the film, who were living in Big Sur, California, out in the country. And the neighbor was off-grid, had a solar system, and it somehow caught on fire and burned the house down. The fire department didn't get there till the house was gone.
No.
After they put out all the fire, they came over to the girl's house and shut up and fire chief saw all the witches up against the house. This is the most amazing fire.
Tirza, come here. Come on. Come on.
He's being a little stubborn.
Come on.
Stop
Come on.
the
Come here.
fire. It's gonna
Come here.
stop
Tirza,
the
come
fire.
on.
It's not gonna invade people. It's compost. It's gonna say, the fire system. This is a fire retardant. Hey, kicks it away. Fire's gonna have an advance. Yeah, see the garden we were watering? And your garden we were watering. So it's not gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
No, we didn't.
So we get a lot of water where we live.
Yeah, water is a tremendous asset. This is awesome.
You have a lot of mushrooms.
I have.
Oh, I did too.
See, mushrooms are fungi. I want everybody to hear me. This is really significant about wood chips. Why I love wood chips over any other material that people use for composting, such as manures or grass clippings or leaves. Fungi, and wood chips have fungi. Fungi is such an incredible part of soil life. Like nothing but wood products. So it's so awesome. Like what? Like it grows under the soil. It's so simple. It's not hard. So, go back to your school experience. Where would things grow better? Under trees or in full sun?
But I know you're gonna say under.
Well, I'm not gonna say. You're gonna say. Look at the strawberries.
Look at your
Strawberries
strawberries. Yes.
under my tree. And look at the ones over there. Where Wayne is. In full sun. Look at the size of them. See over there? Over here.
Oh yeah. I
Over
see
there,
them.
past Wayne.
Yeah. Right behind
The
it.
size difference, the color difference. I planted 12 there and 12 here. Same day. I'm just telling you, man. I can't deny the evidence. Well, if you're real, you can.
Right.
You know, and it's just, I'm blown away at how much better things grow under my tree. Now, take, this is a cherry tree. That's the roots, yeah. Yeah. This is screen wood chips. You see wood chips right here? See that fine material? That stuff there is what we're focusing on. That's it. That's exactly that. You're going to grow an awesome garden. Water. Did you water?
Those strawberries over there are like parched. They're not, well, they're already produced fruit, but they're done. Those are amazing. Incredible.
it's in the same family. Well, it's in the same family.
Like,
Well, it's in the same, it's in the same family. Yeah, I've never seen beet greens as big.
all right.
Is anybody growing beets?
Yes, I just pulled mine.
Did you see the size of that?
Golden beets in here?
You see how big those greens are?
Are these golden beets?
Those golden beets.
They're humongous.
That's my point.
Holy
I want you to get.
moly. Oh, look at
Yeah.
that big.
Yeah. And that was planted years ago.
This is what I just pulled.
Yeah, look at the
These
size
are-
of those greens.
These are Detroit, right?
I'm just totally like, you gotta be kidding me.
That's amazing.
It's awesome. It's how it should be. Now last year wasn't that big. That's what I'm saying is this multiplication
Huh?
is really cool.
Yeah, they,
Takes time. Yeah, what I do is I'll get like a plant like that. The biggest plant like that was flexing. You always want to get the best.
right.
Where are the weeds? Well,
He didn't plant weeds.
I can probably find, if I look for it, I can probably find one or two for you. But
You're on the other side of the fence.
Wow.
let me tell you something about weeds. When you have tilled soil, that nature knows is not unsafe and wants to cover, and you water it, everything's in the more green than the because nature knows the soil is unsafe to cover, so it's trying to recover. We already have a covered place like this. And I want you all to notice this is just watered. When you water dirt, what is the result? Mud. I want you to notice this is not mud. She's walking on it and her feet are totally clean. There's nothing sticking to her feet. This has got water. No mud. It's all, yeah. Exactly. Not dirt. Take my rake. Like that. Here's the insanity of package labels. Let's say plant PhD. Everybody listen to me. Talking about the sanity of your package label. Look at nature, remember? When you have questions, you go to nature. In nature, seeds fall on the ground in fall. Plants flower and they fall on the ground in fall. They're not buried. Then the creator does this thing like, so he sends snow and ice and floods, all this just nasty stuff on top of the seeds. And in the spring they all start growing. And you know what's so cool about it, if you pay attention? They come up long before the last frost date. Are you hearing me? You're told you can't plant anything until your frost's all over. Well, nature says, really? And everything is growing great. Frost didn't hurt it. And the stuff in your garden isn't. So the frost is killing it. And nature's trying to tell you, hello? We need no help. We know how to do this. Would you please pay attention to us and let us teach you because
I needed that.
you got lied to. You're not getting it. I tell you, it's so cool.
You can see the one on the end.
My onions grew all summer, all winter long.
I had to actually remove them, spring onion, and remove them so I could plant my wall of oats. Never died.
Abundance.
We didn't get the snow. I guess we had a day of snow, hard frost, but
See, what I'm seeing is when you have nutrient-dense soil, there are no issues. I can take you on. You're no big deal. It's awesome. It's just so cool. Look at these nice onions. If you like onions, snap off a green and eat it. Snap off one of those greens and eat it. It's a nice flavor. If you like greens, sample some of these greens. Notice how smooth they are. They really taste good. And they're really good for you. Dark green leafy vegetables are really good.
My body was hungry for it.
Oh, it's an orange bean. But
But I'm not going in there.
that's the size that they grow out of the.
Some pull a beet and eat it.
These the yellow
Yeah,
ones?
no, yellow. There's a yellow right there.
Where?
Right there.
Detroit.
Yeah, you see the first one there. This
Right
belongs
here?
to yellow.
It is a yellow. Yep.
And eat it. I want you to see the incredible flavor and then the color. The color of that is alright. Everybody, you can pick, you know, that whole roll there is yellows, right up her. Just pull them up and eat them because they're really good.
The yellow
Yeah,
beet,
eat it.
Well,
Eat the beet.
I want to
Now look at that
eat it
color.
so.
Show her that color. Show me that color of that.
It tastes like dirt.
Oh, I got a red. I don't.
How does that taste?
It tastes like dirt. But I just ate a green and it did not taste like dirt. Yeah.
One of those, and I just find.
I just.
Yes. Down in there, and on the soil below is like, you know, covered in wood chips.
I'm a backyard farmer, so I have fencing all around. But we're gonna sell and then buy like 3 acres and do on a mass scale. So I'll be with you. Deer. My rabbits, but we got it all proofed so they can't get in.
You want it? Right there. The third one over. That one. It shouldn't. I want you to, is that good tasting?
So good. It's my first time eating the whole thing.
Listen, I want you all to listen to me. Listen to me.
That is amazing.
Everybody get my attention. I want you to get my attention. The Creator
That's so big.
made everything. Everything He made is good. And when something's not good, it's change. It's not how it's made. All right. You're good. Yeah, look. Now show that to everybody.
Oh my goodness! Look at this beet, Mom.
Oh my God.
Oh, the most down. That's all.
When they go to seed.
Someone have a knife?
Any of you men have a knife here? That water's too far away.
Peel it.
This is not dirt. It's compost. It's not gonna hurt you.
We eat the beet. Which I will eat
I
those
just
beets.
slice it off. That's what it is.
Somebody still want a knife? Here.
Yeah, she's got a bigger one. Come over here. She's got a bigger one. Now open that up and look at the color. Is that awesome? Look at all the water.
He couldn't get a job. Well, let him start. But he wasn't accredited.
Now, from your experience, you get something that big, it's going to be tough. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
This isn't. Let me tell you why. Everybody here's very easy. When things go quickly, they go slow. It's all about. See, these beets are planted by seed.
About 10 miles south
They're
of
not very old.
Actually, I live out in the country. Between the two. Most
Now,
of them.
would you all do me a favor? These greens,
Which one?
on the way to chickens is real waggy. You notice on the ground, there's a lot of stuff spread out. That's intentional. So I don't like something that I gotta pick it up. See, I was raised in a Swiss German culture that says everything has a place to be in places, so disorder is uncomfortable.
Right.
Hold on to that. The ways of the wagon. I'll take it to the chickens. Go and watch the chickens will just love this.
I don't have a garden this
This is their favorite food.
I have raised beds. I have 2 raised beds.
Okay, are you starting to get the food supposed to taste good?
I won't eat
But I have some hard
And you're here today. This is a preview of this is where you're going. You can't help it. No, I think the reason
had a problem.
the chickens eat it, make nice eggs, and turn it back to compost. It looks like this. And I don't have all of it, so I'll have to bring my yard with composting pads. See, I like ordering, having all that stuff composting in my yard. The chickens will eat it, which is good food for them, and create eggs. So I have 25 chickens because I create a lot of yard waste, and I need that to keep up with
You'll edit it.
It's all about balance. You want to
Have
be
a rag that looks like you.
I'm always so if you have 2 chickens, provide some. If you have a few, you won't keep up with your chicken family. So you have to find a balance.
You have all these great vegetables, you can't make omelets with no eggs. So, you know, you gotta figure it out.
I'll ask my esophagus if it's going to let me choose.
This is sweet. It's all rich. I would have put it in there.
You don't because it's thin, so the water will still evaporate.
Anyway, I don't have a garden.
Well, I was doing under there.
That was, but I want you to look at
Just
the plants.
volunteered this year. So we're watering that and some spearmint. But all the rest of the beds
You
are
said it was dry. What I'm trying to tell you is what you're seeing. As you connect the dots, isn't real. Because those plants are not dehydrated.
And you haven't watered.
And are not watered. Which is saying
I know.
they're getting water.
Are they tapping in underneath?
You saw how far that root went? Because if you're eating them, they're full of water.
Come on. Mom, you need to eat.
My orchard has never been watered. It's all the time full of water. So,
Yeah, but
you know, watering's, you know, it's not like you can overwater, so you have a desire to water. Constant overwater in your chest. Let me give you an example. The whole rainforest, we talked about that. 14 feet of water a year. You walk in the rainforest, there's no water there. The roots are displaced for water. And when there's no water, they're retained. I love witches, no brain, and they know how to get really much water and hold on to when they need it. Now, just as a passing, you know where I live here? This is Western Washington, 550 feet above sea level. Figs don't grow here. I want you to notice my fig tree, and if you focus closely, it's loaded with figs to make it ripe. Another thing that doesn't grow here is grapes right behind you. The grapes don't grow here either. Great grapes. Now the reason they're doing so well is because they have that root behind the root acts as a DC, knocks off the root and holds deep, so that will help. I just want you to get that all the things they say you can.
So what do you do for the fig tree to get it stuff?
I put a stick in the ground 4 years ago.
That's a 4-year-old?
4 years old, stick. A stick I stuck in the ground at 4 years.
Is this the first year? Специально патрончик. Just go bagat one flat and common.
So,
If you look close, that thing is full of figs.
Oh, it is.
Full of figs.
It is.
Wow.
They'll get ripe. The only one that gets
4
ripe
years
is
old?
That's amazing.
when
Loaded. Is it? How old is
Notice
it?
in nature, every fall, the caterpillars come together.
Oh, wow.
I love it. It's just the best time.
Wood chip.
Because you send some rain after that, and snow to create compost.
The apple trees are small. They're only 2
When
years.
the farmers
So I'm
fertilize,
gonna
spring. It's stupid.
Train it like that.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, if you pay attention,
That's awesome. You can do it.
it's the best. And it's very obvious.
I have a big tree at home too.
Amazing.
Now,
Load
looking
it
at that
down.
tree, does that look like it might be nitrogen deficient to you?
Not at all.
I want you to pay attention to the color you're seeing here and the size of plants and start connecting dots. And I'm not using fertilizer anywhere. I never would, because fertilizer is a waste. It's so deficient. It's so less.
Yeah, and I've been using it all.
It's totally a drag.
I use organic fertilizer.
It's all the same. It's totally useless. She's asked a question, why don't I thin? Let me answer her back with
So like we have beans, so like they dried up and died because there's end. And then I took one dried one fresh and I put it inside of a cup with soil and it sprouted. And I still have it right now.
You are a
the
gardener.
reason is they're big.
And in Portland,
Soil
it doesn't get too cold that you can maybe put it in the ground and protect it when it gets freezing cold.
Yeah, it's in my house right now because yeah.
Or put it in a pot. You
Yeah.
put it outdoors, and then when you know it's going to snow or freeze, you can bring it inside. Neat for you. How awesome.
Leave the big ones because my wife wants those. Because she would like those too. No, beyond. The ones that have no tops. Just pull up one that's kind of small and peel it and eat it and just see how good it is.
Chickens too. Right in downtown.
Everybody's got a little bit different, different ideas.
Now take a bite of that. Is that sweet?
Very sweet.
Do you think it might need some water?
No.
Look how much water's in that thing. Get the small ones. My wife likes the bigger ones.
This is really similar to permanent, where you build it, and then after a while you don't have to do anything, you just take care of it.
And what I'm seeing is
It's like a self thing, it's like you promote it.
Yeah, the right stuff. Well, with those guys, you get a dozen boxes around you and you're their driver. Nobody's going to mess with you if they've got any brains about them. Oh, okay. Maybe not. Maybe I misspoke. I want you to see how the water comes.
I couldn't even get them that big. This year I got it. But well, I got the climate. I mean, it's kind of wet.
a cherry tree.
I make my own.
They don't want to be part of your video anymore?
I can't make them.
Why did they do that?
They cut all their fruit trees down because they were doing so close.
See, that's what
They might have seen the video and decided maybe they should just take
and I'm like, oh, I don't want that in my garden. Yeah, that's just.
Excuse me. What's the effective distance on that mic? I've been staying within about 15, 20 feet. You can get right up on it if you want. You can go anywhere you want. But I don't want to be like 30. Can you put your audio off this one onto that one?
I can put all of the audios. That's why it's just a backup for backup. How long does it normally go?
Kind of cooking along a little bit because we're skipping stuff. But probably about 2 hours.
Oh yeah?
And we'll be over by the chickens and taking questions. And that can go on for an hour, 2, 3, 5.
You do this every Sunday?
Every Sunday from June 1st, or the first Sunday in June to the last Sunday in September. Every Sunday, 2:30.
You guys are training.
Seriously, you ask him like, how do you feel? This is peace.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Oh yeah, but I preach for 45 minutes and I need to lie down.
it you know him forever. He'll talk your ear off.
Yeah, I gather that. He's pretty good at the sarcasm thing.
Yeah. Oh, he loves it. That's why I said he cracks me up.
Yeah. I think he's watched a little bit.
I would leave them until next April, and right now water.
I've been doing that, just like I water.
I wouldn't take next spring. It's not taking off. Give them, do not be surprised.
And then the other question, so I won't utilize you the whole time, was, did you take your leaders out of these, and that's why you have no?
Yeah, you see what I did?
You took the leader and then
you
let
look,
it
you look
bonsai
at the
down.
top of those trees
Right.
in my hand.
Right.
When I got that high, I cut to a lateral branch. That became a leader, and I would never let anything go beyond it.
Okay, so
You see, as it continues to grow out, they get heavy and bend down because of the weight.
mine are doing that, but I have that one up to
We'll
the
take
middle,
it out.
so, okay, I wanted to know.
Again, the thing you need to understand is these trees are here to serve me, not me. If I can't reach it, it's in my way.
You can get right up in his face if you want. You can do it like this when you go through the trees. Get straight as out. Relax a little bit right there. There you go. Just point in his face and worry about anything.
Like yours, right, they took them off, so some would still
You
bow,
can talk all you
but
want.
not break them off. And so they're all doing their thing, they almost look like yours in places, but I just need to chop off the middle.
Just and clean cut right at the base, you know. And I'll show you when they first start, you can actually just rub them off on the road.
Okay.
Can you do that any time of year, or is it?
Anytime. See, if something's in the wrong place, the sooner you get rid of it, the better. why should you let it take energy out of the tree if you don't want it? Get rid of that front and you're good.
Can I have one more question? When it comes fall, or no, next spring, and I'm going to prune, this will be my first time. I've been watching your videos, but there's these little funny things that are sticking out. You seem to like those. What are those? Are those the ones that are going to bring the apples?
The fruit spurs are the bigger buds.
So it's a little thing that sticks out of wood about like this.
It's a fruit spur.
That's a fruit spur,
Yeah,
and I want
and
those.
you'll see that in the spring they flower.
Okay.
That's what it is. Yeah, because you want fruit.
Okay, I'm just trying to identify.
And so you'll see the flat ones are leaf buds, but the thick ones are fruit spurs, and they flower, and that's what creates the fruit.
I wanted to do that.
Yeah, and you'll see when it comes on, they create flowers. And that was, I see this poor woman here. She's eating one totally green apple. It's not even close to right.
No, I found it on the ground.
You're welcome to. But what's amazing to me is you're eating it.
No, I love it. Yeah, I like it.
And you say you love it because that thing's, not even close to right.
Oh, I know.
There's no flavor, and it's completely like, really? But it just shows
I was
how
thinking,
you've been
I
so
gotta come back
deprived.
in September.
I'm being real. The stuff in the store is so bad that that's good. It's hilarious. It's just, I mean, it's sad, but on the other hand, like, really?
I don't know, I like it.
And you're so welcome to it. It can't hurt you, but it's just not much to it.
Yeah.
Are the woodpeckers making those little...
Yeah, woodpeckers made all those holes. They worked hard for nothing because they're not there. There's no buds. You want to do a potato game?
Sure.
No, I think I guess she's false.
Anybody grow potatoes?
I do.
Anybody knows how you're supposed to grow potatoes? Till deep.
Well, they tell you to heal them, but I don't do that. I bury them.
Let me show you. Let me give you a demonstration of how easy it is to grow
I do them.
and harvest and plant potatoes.
You just dump them. Yeah, it's very easy. Just fill it all the way up. Yeah, don't do the heel. So you start with like 6 inches. Yeah, and then you add up. I did that the first time. And I didn't get a lot of potatoes.
Paul, were you real selective in the varieties you put in here, or did you?
Yes, very selective. Because not all apples are the same.
So how did you make that decision? Did you read?
Well, I eat apples.
Okay. You
And it's
picked out
something,
the ones
and
you
it's
like.
something that I like. I want. I'll keep that one. If I don't, I won't.
Okay.
This grab and seed here is probably the most amazing summer apple on the planet. It's just totally the best, nothing comparable. I have 5 of them in my orchard because it's just so big.
I see. Turning green. It's exposed.
What's that now?
I don't grow in the
Potato that's exposed.
Oh yeah,
so it's turning green.
Because it's.
Oh, there's your
Sam,
potatoes.
see, I want you to all notice that I'm growing potatoes under my apple tree in the root ball, in a place that you aren't supposed to. See, I'm making the point now.
Oh, look at all the potatoes.
I'm making the point now to do things they say you can't.
That's what I like about
I'm
him. Do
looking
things.
for the most hard place to do stuff to just show that it's not
Right.
good.
It's not in a bad
So,
attitude,
when
but
you
it's
go
just
to
like you want to see.
potatoes,
It's like a scientist. You want to figure out what you can do, and what you can't do.
You bring a fork.
Business the same
Right,
way.
because
There,
your
there's
ground
how I
is
can't
hard.
do. That's what I
You
need
can
to do.
access it. I want you to notice I don't have a fork.
How do you know until you try something?
I want you also to notice.
Then I'll do in the ground. I've been doing in pots because I don't want pork marks in my potatoes.
Well, I want you to show you how. I want to show you how. You should probably start eating those.
Yep.
You're not hungry. So you get on the ground, which is nice and soft, comfortable, and you come to your potato plant here, and with your hands you just pull it up. And then with your hands, you start moving the wood chips, and you start taking out potatoes.
Bringing out the produce.
See, my hands are doing all the work.
You're not using a shovel or
No
anything?
shovel. And if you're noticing how quickly this is getting nice and damp here,
Amazing.
you see, by digging with my hands, this is just really doing amazing things for my heart. because it's telling me like this used to be clay and rock that I couldn't move with a fork or a shovel, and I'm doing it with my hands. So what I do now, I got that hole dug, I take my biggest potato, put it back in the hole and cover it, and I just plant it for next year. I'm done. That is the full extent of all I'll do here, ever, for potatoes.
Wow. So do you do it under all your trees? Or?
No, because I can't use that many potatoes.
You want those called?
You can have them. Anybody wants these? These are really. This is a nice. They're nice. You know, you can steam or fry. But anybody, you can come back and get all these.
Do you know what brand that is?
It's a red one. I can't think of it. I got
Is it Norland? Red Norland?
No, Norland's a different one. This is another red one, but I can't remember the name. It's, you know, the red ones are early. You know, they come over here.
Need a hand or?
No. Here's why I don't need help. Because if you weren't here,
right,
there wouldn't be help.
Right.
So if I don't do this myself,
Good extra.
Then you wouldn't be able to do it.
I wouldn't be able to do it. So I have to maintain, you know, my ability to get up. So thank you.
Awesome.
So like I say, those are really good to eat, and so you're all welcome to. You're gonna get them now. Then on your way home, you can just come by and pick them up. Plant it, yeah.
There's your seeds.
You see how easy that was? I want you to look at my hands. They're not dirty because that wasn't dirt.
Right.
Wood chip compost is so
I'm always
fun.
thinking about when you're supposed to start playing, but he says he's playing right in the ground.
Stick it in the ground.
Right.
Fun.
Fantastic.
Because everybody's always like, oh, you got to start it this time, you know.
Whatever. Like so many things. Like,
Right.
you know, if you believe everything you hear, then
Right.
Oh,
good luck.
here's the garden.
Strawberry patch.
Another one.
Right, some good ones?
Clean up too.
The holes are from a woodpecker who worked real hard to get nothing. Because there's no bugs in my tree. You know, what's interesting about the woodpecker? I had this really neat man come from Italy who had been farming all his life. You could look at his body, his skin. He'd been outside a long time. I mean, he had that weathered look. And Italian people as a culture are not to themselves. They're very outgoing. And this guy's in my face. Everybody's saying, you can't do that. That's not how you do it, you know? And I said, come look. And he's starting to get like, I got lied to. And so when he saw my tree over, he says, you know, they did it on my cherry tree, it died. I said, your cherry tree wasn't well. This tree's not affected by it because it's well. Your cherry tree. So you can see in his face, he's starting to like shift gears, like, whoa. So I was showing over here the reason why things go so much better than my fruit trees is the creator showing me this. So I'm showing you. You see the roots of my trees, these are all dwarf trees. All my trees are dwarf. You know how they create dwarf trees? You know how they're made?
Grafted.
They graft into a rootstock that doesn't develop a root system because you have a small root system. That's going to maintain a dwarf tree. But you know the Creator laughs. The Psalm chapter 2 says God laughs. And God laughs at the whole concept of the dwarf tree. He just starts smiling, like you got to be kidding. Because if you plant a dwarf tree in a nutrient-dense environment, it's not going to be dwarf.
No, those are very, usually
I
very
have
tiny.
roots. You see that where his camera's over there? That's a plum tree. I have roots coming out from that tree 35 feet. Radius, not diameter, radius. So the Creator says, go over, I want to show you why your things go better than the trees. Go out 35 feet from that tree and do a circle around it, and imagine in your mind the size of that root system, how big that is. Look at the size of the tree. There's no way possible for that tree to take in and consume all that's coming into the roots, and so it displaces the excess out through its leaves, and the plants are being fed from the top and the bottom. I thought, whoa. Totally huge. And what I'm seeing is so cool about this, you're going to see, I have all this stuff growing in my trees, is that because this is nutrient dense, plants growing around them take nothing from them because there's so much. It's fine for everybody. And what I want you to get, what you're going to see today when you walk through my place is everything I'm growing, all my food is on a half an acre. 1/2 acre. And I'm producing so much, it's incredible. And what I want you to get is the reason we have large farms in the United States is because they're producing so little. The reason they're big is because they're producing so little. Because it's unnatural. When you have nutrient density, you can grow a lot in a small space. Because it just happens. I can't help it.
Hey, Paul, what's your thought on the wildlife? All the
Wildlife?
little critters that come around.
You see that dog?
Yes.
My sense is that I like wildlife, but this is private property. And you're not welcome here.
Okay.
And if you come here, you're trespassing.
Okay.
And I have a security system that's going to take you out if you don't leave on your own. I'm being serious. This is private property, and I will not tolerate the livestock, the wild critters to come on my property. There's plenty all around you out here, not here. But you know what's amazing about them? Right across the street, my neighbor has an apple tree, but the deer come right past to get to mine because they know which is more nutrient dense. They're very intelligent. They know where the good stuff is.
It's the good stuff over here.
But now
They haven't decimated anything.
well, because I just have a young dog. Last year they did, but this young dog is making a difference, and it's awesome. I'm so thankful. No, I'm going to walk right through it. Thank you. Now, as you walk through, I just want you to notice the density of apples on these trees.
Beautiful.
You know, it's awesome. And they all get big. They tell you if you don't thin, they won't get big. That's not true. You see that tree there you're leaning on? Is that one unusual looking tree to you?
Yeah, it is.
Does that look like a Japanese bonsai? Look at that thing. Comes out of the ground, does this split, there's no central leader. It's like the coolest tree on the planet, man. I love it. And you know what? It's a Japanese tree. It's Musu. Yeah, people tell me that. This is the first time I had to bend over to pick an apple.
All you were saying that a normal apple tree that hasn't been done this way, it's going to take a few years to get it there. Is that correct?
Depending on its size, if they're real old,
Yeah,
you're not going to correct it immediately.
These are old trees.
Yeah.
I'd like to get them like that, but it would take about 3 or 4 years.
But here's the thing: is 1/3 of max. You can't take more than 1/3 of the entire mass at any one time. So you got to do it over time.
Slow.
Yeah. Now here's a demonstration. I want you to see. You see this root sucker right here? Everybody, come look at this.
That one.
Right there. That's coming from that plum tree over there.
That's a plum tree.
That's a plum. So that Italian guy I was telling you about, this is so cool. This was here when he was here. It was real tall. And I told him, he says, that's impossible. The roots only go as far as the drip line. See, that's what he's holding in school. So he breaks off a piece and he walks over there and he looks at it and he says, eyes got huge. He says, this is coming from that tree. And I says, I want you to get it. It totally blew his mind. He couldn't believe it, but that's reality. This is where that's coming from that tree, 35 feet away. So just in your mind here, like you come out here, do a circle around that tree, this far out, all the way around, and imagine how many roots are there. And see, this is why my trees, I don't have to water. You see, it's not about the amount of water in the ground, it's about the plant's capacity to take up the water. You see, when you have a totally weak tree with roots only go as far as the drip line, you got to water a lot because there's no roots. When you have a root system this big, it's getting water because the roots are everywhere, and they can.
Will you leave that there now?
I'm going to leave that there because I love having a demonstration. Because a lot of times my son's out here pulling stuff. And says, I like having something I can show people because this is, I can say it, but when you see it, you can't deny it. Oh, he's baloney. That's not real, but there it is. What do you think about all that produce over there in my trees, that cabbage and all those potatoes? Isn't that cool? Under my trees. Look how good that looks.
You got cabbage on?
I got cabbage over there, under my trees.
Paul, how old is this tree? Right
That
here?
tree's there 3 years old.
3, okay. Not that. It was close to that.
And you see, it's still standing up. It won't last so long. You see this tree here? See, it's all bent over because the weight of the fruit bends it down. The weight.
See, mine looks more like that.
Yeah, that's how they should look. But that's not going to be that way for long because that fruit's going to bend it over. And you see, nutrient-dense food is heavy.
And then you'll let it just keep going like this.
Well, I can't help it. What am I going to do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you won't like prune it.
Well, I prune it all the time.
Yeah.
It's always pruned.
You essentially take off everything that starts to build up.
Now see that, because there's a big open space there, I'll let that go because I can still reach it. I actually want this tree to grow up, but it's not getting there because of the weight. So as stuff goes up, I'm saying, yeah, let's get some elevation here because I need it. See, my whole system, everybody's pruning their trees down. I'm pruning my trees up. It's so different when you have nutrient density.
I know, this is pretty cool. I bet everyone could just come pick their apple trees without a ladder like that.
Yeah, well, it's convenient. Ladders are not fun, and then these trees are so thick you can't even get in them. You're smacking your face and it's putting stuff in your eyes.
And it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. Well, this is easy.
I have 3 apple trees that are not because of the weight.
They're probably not well. Now, do they bloom?
Yes.
Okay, if they bloom, they're not bearing, you have a pollination issue.
I have honeybees.
Honeybees are not good pollinators.
Oh, okay.
When your trees are blooming, if you're paying attention, it's cold outside. If you
You're
look where your
alright?
bees are, they're all inside eating honey.
Okay.
They're outside. Mason bees are much better pollinators. You know, honeybees are not native to America. They were brought from Europe, and they're lousy pollinators. Because our trees are blooming here way beyond.
So can you buy that package?
No, but if you drill holes, you get blocks of wood and drill holes in it, they'll show up.
Okay.
See that barn over there with all the holes in it? Mason bees just started coming when I built that barn because I had holes for them to live in.
And that's what pollinates.
See, your native bees have no honey.
Yes, yes.
So when something blooms, they're hungry. And they're going to go there because they have another option. Where honeybees who have honey, they can wait for a warm day because they got food at home.
I learned something.
It's interesting. It's very interesting if you look at nature.
Yeah.
So I want to show you all how to graft because I think grafting is really important. Let me tell you why I think grafting is important. For my situation here is that the new apples keep coming on in the world, and I have no more room. You can see that. So if I want a new apple, I have to plug into what I have because that's the only option. But it's really easy to do. Now just because we're here, I want to show you, you see that Swiss chard right there? Swiss chard?
No.
No one grows Swiss chard?
Yes.
No one?
I do.
Okay, now
And rhubarb chard.
how's that look? Looks good. You see where it's growing? Under my tree, I didn't plant it. The seed blew in and just started growing. I just want you to get that this is not hard. This doesn't take a lot of effort, and it doesn't even need you. It could just seed itself and do fine. That's never watered, no attention, and it's just doing great. The reason I'm grafting, I want you all to hear me, is if you're paying attention to what's happening on the planet today, with the incredible large amount of pesticides that are used, is the bee population in the world is declining at a very scary rate. Are you following me? And what these farmers don't realize is that if you don't have bees, you're not going to have food.
You don't have fruit.
You're not going to have food. Because I mean, your cucumbers have flowers. They require a bee to pollinate.
Yes.
And so what God's showing me is that by grafting into my trees multiple varieties, you see here I got red and yellow pears. Because they're close, when the wind blows, they'll cross-pollinate. And if bees don't happen, I'm going to have fruit.
Right.
I love it. Awesome.
So you're putting a pollinator
Right close.
onto the tree.
Onto the tree.
Nice.
So it's there. And if the bee doesn't show up with the wind, because it's so close, it'll cross-pollinate.
Right.
Now let me show you how to graft because it's, now when you look about grafting, read books, they make it really hard. You got to have these pins hold all together. You need grafting paste and all this hard stuff. So ask the creator about grafting. I find that he knows everything and he's really helpful. He says all you need is a roll of black electrical tape, and make sure you buy the cheap stuff from Taiwan because the U.S. stuff is too thick and won't stretch as well. So the thin stuff from Taiwan,
So like the dollar store.
It stretches real well.
Right.
And let me show you how easy it is to graft and how to do it because it's very, very simple. and easy. The only live part of the tree, I want you all to hear me, the only live part of the tree is the cambium layer below the bark. That's the green part. Are you following me? The center part of the tree, the wood, is not living. It's there for support, but it's not alive. And that's why you see trees with cavities, great big holes in them, growing just fine, because the cambium's intact. And that's where the life is. So I want you to come over here. I want to show you on my pear tree where I've done a lot of grafting and show you how to do it. Right here, this union, that's a graft. These pears here are different than the ones over there. That's a graft. Here's another graft right here. That place looks thick. Graft there. And over here's another one. Now what's amazing me is I've been pruning trees for almost 50 years, and I know how things grow. I can't believe how fast this stuff is growing. I grafted right here piece of wood like this, right there 3 years ago. I'm looking at how much wood and how big 3 years ago. Here's how you graft. What you're going to graft into, she's in the car. Cut off flat with a saw, make a clear cut. Get your pruners, and you cut an opening in the center. Opening.
In the cut?
Like into it.
Into it, yeah. You want to so you can push into it.
Okay.
Then the piece you're grafting into, you cut at an angle like this, so you have a thin opening, and you push it in. And here's the beauty of tape. As you wrap with the tape, it pulls everything into alignment, so the cambium is totally in alignment. Because it's wrapped tight with the tape, it's not going to flex or move. Because it's wrapped tight with the tape, it's going to keep all the air out so it doesn't dry out. Because it's black when the sun hits it, it heals quicker. Because it gets warmer.
How important is it for the gauge of the piece you're grafting
exactly
into?
The same.
Exactly the same.
Because you have to have the cambium coming in alignment.
Right.
So they have to be exactly the same diameter. You got to have perfect. Because that you see the green part, both have to connect to make a union. Now let me show you here how powerful this is. I grafted onto this tree here last April.
Oh, is that what that is? You're still taping it, and it's healed over.
Here's something you can see real clearly. The tape's still on. It hasn't even started to grow yet. But what's blowing my mind, they already have fruit. This was done April this year. And you can see the tape. Everybody come and say, I want you to see this. This will really give you an idea of how to do this and how cool it is. See the tape right here? So that's a graft. You see this fruit? You see it's yellow. These are red. So this is a whole other variety, and this happened in April. I already have fruit. It's just like awesome.
Is that just electrical tape?
Electrical tape. And it's a real cheap stuff because it stretches nice. So you really make it tight with that good thick American stuff won't stretch. So the thin stuff from Taiwan is the ideal. Now I want to show you over here just the intensity of how much you can graft. It's just right behind you here. You look at this tree and follow the branches back. You're going to find tape on almost everything. Still on the ground there? Yeah, see the tape I think you put it right there? See, this thing is just full of grafts. See them all? You see how cool that is?
And you don't take the tape off?
Well, you don't need to because as the tree grows, it just breaks off. Yeah. What I'm getting is that I'm finding that nature's so perfect, if I try to help it, I mess it up. I'm finding at any point, if I try to assist, try to make it better, it's unnecessary, and I usually mess it up. Now here's something that's really blowing me away. I want you to see the numbers here. I'm just... This tree right over here. This is the boot tube. And I grafted 2 years ago onto this. You're seeing it right there, all those yellow apples. Over there where he is. He's so out of it.
Do you want to go?
years ago. Look at all those apples. Is that amazing? From a graft.
You do that.
Look at that. You can see the tape still there. And look at all those apples. It's so fun. And you see, this is what's so awesome is that you can continually keep having new apples on your trees. And then the advantage is cross-pollination. So it's just totally plus all the way around. It's just, and then you don't have to pay any money. You know, trees cost $20, $30. You get scion wood for nothing. You just plug in and you got the tree. You know, if you don't like it, prune it out and put another one in there. You know,
Pocket knife and some tape from Taiwan, and you're off to
and
the
you're
races.
good. It's just, I'm telling you, man, it's so fun, so easy, and so simple.
Did you explain over there, I probably didn't hear, that it has to be the same size?
Yeah, you have to make, see the cambium, that's that green below, they have to touch. And so if they're different sizes, they
and you
won't.
cut it just to...
What you're grafting into, you cut flat, and you cut an opening in the center. You cut it, split it. Basically split it. And then the piece you're going to graft, you cut at an angle so you have a real thin opening in the end, and you slide into it. Here's the advantage, as you wrap with the tape, that pulls everything into alignment and tight. Takes out all the air, keeps it warm because it's black, and then holds it in place.
And you can graft what time of the year?
Yeah, the timing is important. You want to cut your wood you're going to graft with when the tree's dormant. And you hold on to that until the sap starts coming in April. That's when you plug in. You plug in when the sap starts coming in. You start seeing buds happening, plug into it. You know what's so cool? What's that?
How do you store it?
Cool. No, you know, if you lay it in the ground where it came from, it's going to be cool all winter. It's fine.
So
a
when
cool
the tree's
place.
dormant,
You just don't want it to dry out. So outside, under the tree, is fine. And then when you get ready to graft, just pick it up and plug in. I'll tell you an experience I had here, which blew me away about laying on the ground. This grafting scene over here, one of my neighbors, one of my clients paid way too much for this grafting seed tree, and I couldn't figure out why until I ate one. I thought, whoa, this is an amazing grafting seed. So I cut some scion wood and I grafted it in mine, and I really like it, so I thought, I want to extend this to my other trees. So I cut some scion wood. I didn't have time to walk. I usually put my cooler in the back, so it's left on the ground, but I forgot about it. So I'm coming back next year and I'm doing some weeding, and I'm finding these branches I laid on the ground are totally leafed out. They're totally leafed out. They were laying on the ground, but they were attached to the wood chips. They got the life from them. They were totally growing, laying on the ground because so much life force in the wood chips. It was incredible.
that's amazing.
It is amazing. And you see, these are the kind of things you can't argue with. I didn't plan this. I didn't set it up. I wasn't watering, so I had to make it happen. I just forgot them. And they're growing. I mean, it was amazing.
You buy your grafts?
No, I just find people, or I find good trees. Like if I'm in someone's yard and talk about a tree, I ask them, can I come by this winter and get some cuttings from this? Yeah, I pay attention. And people see a lot of this stuff. I don't even know what this is yet. I'll have to find out later what the name is because I don't even know. People just gave me scion wood, which is fun. It's always discovery. Okay, that's what that is. Now I know, you know. So it's cool.
So like for example, this one that you would cut away.
Yes.
Is this a good one to?
Now I won't cut that away because look where it is.
Yeah, I know.
But I'll tell you what I will cut away. The one underneath it.
This one?
Yeah, and here's why. See, this is growing up in a space where it's getting full light. It's within my reach. That is going under back into the tree. Now let me show you how you prune without a tool. See, I have no tool here. I'm going to prune that. Let me show you how. This is so fun. See, when they're small, this is the best time to do it. You take your hand.
Yep, that's what I would do.
It's done. And you see, you leave no mark, no wound, and it's going to heal. So it's so easy to take out stuff when you see when it's little. Now you see here, I'm going to leave this now because you see this is within my range I can reach, and so this is a big open space so I can start developing life
So
in.
you would prune it later on when it gets...
When it gets way beyond,
Yeah,
but right now you see I got a lot of open space here. So this just gives me more potential fruit, but it's not in anybody's way.
Now would you keep that one or would you cut it?
Now that one there, because it's inside, it's going to be
You would
shaded
cut
by
that.
that, and I can't get to it later, it's going to come out. Again, it's just this, I'm in charge.
Yeah.
And if this fits for me, it's within my comfort zone, it stays. If it's not, we're out of here. Again, it's just, you're in charge. And so it's, you know, you have an eye, and you know what fits and looks good, and makes you happy. That's what you work with. If it doesn't, remove it. Again, just make it compliant to you, to fit with you, and make you satisfied and you're good. Now you see what's happening with that apple that you got?
I found it on the ground.
I know. So I want you to do something. You see your shirt there? Rub it on the shirt, the red part. The red part. The part that's red, rub it real good in your shirt. Look how that shines. Is that awesome?
Yeah.
That's God's wax. God has the most awesome wax. And you're welcome to eat that. It's not going to be that good, but you can sure enjoy it.
Yeah, we enjoy.
I was going to give it to him.
What a nice guy.
So Paul, my tree that's not getting pollinated and bearing apples, it would be good to go ahead and maybe do some grass.
Yeah, and what you want to do is get wood chips around and water it and encourage it to pollinate and have if the fruit's good, your work is not and not all trees are good. Some trees actually go bad. Well, no, this fruit was never going to be good. Yeah, sounds right. I don't like it. I don't know why they have it on the market. Very low. For instance, yellow transparent. I don't know why they ever produce that. I mean, they have no shelf life. You got to make them all applesauce in one day, otherwise they're no good. What's up with that? Why do you even have this thing?
What is a good apple?
Oh, that Honey Crisp. This
Honey Crisp?
This is honey. This one here is Martha's Favor. I mean, every tree in here is awesome, and I got all kinds of grass. I don't know what they are, so there's unlimited good ones.
And these will grow, I'm from Ohio, so these will grow in
Anyway.
Ohio.
Anyway. Okay. Yeah.
Water.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that nice tail growing in my orchard.
Unusual, but just my grandfather had one.
Now everybody, I want you to sample that arugula. When you walk close to it, because I got beeches, peons, on this side I have parsnips. I want you to go in there and pick one of those big leaves and see how good it is. Everybody. Yeah, that's arugula, which should not be that big. No, but you know what? I see the sunset every day. That's awesome. And then the skylight at night, and I can see Canada, and I can see the water.
Yeah,
And
so a blessing.
So you know when that first started happening, I started doing this, and then I heard it, and everything gives thanks.
Yes.
And I'm seeing this is such an asset. This is so cool.
Yeah. It is beautiful, but I was going, oh, when
It changed, but
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Get some of that arugula. What's that arugula? How's it taste to you?
Crunchy is really good. Like arugula, but nice and peppery.
And you see how big the leaves are compared to the stuff you get in the store.
Oh, very much so. But the store just did this much.
Now you see all the nice kale under my trees over here?
Our arugula is the one thing that grew in this. It looked just like yours.
Okay.
Most of the other stuff didn't, but the arugula.
Because it's fast.
Because it goes up fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I would keep planting. I would right now plant carrots and beets and stuff because they'll and then water real well.
Okay, should I
Just
flatten it down a bit?
Flatten it down, make a little groove, plant carrots, beets, root vegetables because they'll be fine now for winter. Water well, keep it real wet, and they'll be fine.
I'll tell my wife because she was ready to give up.
Your first frost.
I don't care. Probably doesn't matter.
September 10th is about the time for.
I don't even care. Now for me, my last planting here is September 1st.
Okay.
After that, everything's fine.
Okay.
The frost has no effect at all on my plants.
Okay, so I can plant. I should be planting now
Yes, for winter.
for winter.
So when we get to
We don't freeze down inches into the soil.
But the wood chips don't freeze down.
That's
in the
true,
soil.
they don't.
It's an insulator.
And they can expand.
We're talking about cold weather and about frost and that kind of thing. I want you all to hear me. At 40 below zero in Canada, 40 below zero in Canada, that happens every year.
Way up there.
Way up there. All the animals, all the birds, now the bear takes a nap, but all the rest of them are eating all winter in that environment. Nothing dies in the forest. But in everybody's farm, next to the forest with exposed dirt, everything dies. Get it! This is an insulator, big time. This insulates the roots that protects the plants. The cold doesn't hurt them because this is a covering. It works. Anybody growing zucchini?
Yeah, we are.
Come check out these zucchini and talk to me about what they look like to you. Look at that foliage. Look at those flowers.
You want that camera move?
No, I can walk around it. What does that look like to you, those zucchini?
Mine got like a powder and stuff on them.
Oh, powdery mildew.
What is that?
fungi.
It's my first year growing them.
It's a fungus.
And why did they get them?
Because they weren't well. You see any powdery mildew on these? No. They look fantastic. I don't know about you, but this gets my... I've never had zucchini leaves like that. Never. Look at the size of those things. That's a young plant. It's not even started growing yet. And it's growing under my trees in the orchard. I want you to get it. It is awesome. Look at that. I mean, in commercial organic farms, they have nothing comparable to this. And this is where they're tilling and fertilizing and watering and killing themselves. And I suck a few seeds around and walk off. And I get this. I'm just telling you, man, this is awesome. It doesn't get better. It's just like, I'm just like, God, this is so cool. Like,
That is a big stem.
yeah, and it's a baby plant. It's just starting out. Does anybody know how good those flowers are to eat? They're awesome. Has anybody not had one before? Pick one of these flowers and eat it because they're really good. Like, here's one.
Oh, you had them? I had
Just
them.
snap it off the end.
Yeah,
snap the flower off the end. And eat the whole thing. Get the whole flower. Because it's really good. You can get the rest of it. No, somebody else take it. Come get the rest of it because it's really good. Just snap that flower off the end. Eat that to see how good it is. You'll be amazed how delicious that is. It's really good. Isn't that good? That's good.
Never ate a flower.
It's good.
Are those watermelons?
Yep. So if you carried all your brushes as far as there's a wagon there, you can dump it in there. Thank you. Now I want you to notice this parsley here. Does parsley get any greener than that? Look at the color of that. Now pick a piece of it. Break it off of the stem because I want you to see the stem's really good, and just check out the flavor because it's amazing. Yeah, put it out here. I raised the largest bear of Washington State history. I took 2 wheelbarrow loads every night out to the woods to feed them on wrecking my trees. And then I went to my neighbor's house and destroyed all his hunting. They caught it. 470 pounds. Wow. And I raised it here since it was a baby. Eating my food.
And you left your trees alone?
He didn't. I would take the apples to him.
Yeah.
If I didn't, he'd take my food.
He's gonna take them.
So I'm taking 3 wheelbarrow loads every night out to the woods and eating them.
Or later. But I think even growing this way, like, it's easy for them to get, right? They're not pulling the branches down and breaking the branches off.
Now be careful when you're walking, because right behind you is lettuce coming up. And over there is cilantro. And that's spinach.
What's that one at the third one?
Spinach. Yeah, spinach over there.
I'm definitely gonna get some water.
Now, while you're here, you can walk in between my carrots over there and pull them and eat them because they're really good. And then I want you to notice when you pull the carrots to pay attention to the odor that you don't get from organic carrots. And here's the reality. In 10 minutes, after finishing vegetable pick, they can lose up to 80% of metabolic properties. When you pull those carrots, you're going to smell something you never saw before. It's live. And that's when you should eat it.
If you grow too much to eat, say within the 10 minutes, if you got abundance.
Chickens.
Besides that, What about dehydrating? Do we save
Dehydrating,
anything?
dehydrating is so good. The worst way to store food is canning.
I
When
don't
you
like
can
canning.
food,
I
you
like
lose
to dehydrate.
95% of the food value when you can food. 95% of the food. Because here's why. You bring it to high temperature, and all the food value is in the water you pour off. Are you hearing me? Where when you dry food, all you're losing is water. Everything's still there.
So it preserves all those nutrients.
95% gained by drying. Here's what's cool. If you live in California, all you need is a car.
Right.
Roll the windows up,
Right.
put it in the back seat, and you're good.
Yeah.
You'll dehydrate just fine. I'm serious.
Because I just harvested all my carrots and I dehydrated what we didn't eat.
I live in Arizona.
And
I can try that.
my husband's
Now,
all,
I
10
wa-
minutes, we gotta
Now
eat
watch
them all
that-
in
wa-
10
Everybody
minutes.
watch the dog. She's gonna pull a carrot up and eat it.
Huh? What?
Watch that.
Gonna eat a carrot?
No, she will. She
Do
does
you
it all.
ever dehydrate it? What about blanching? Is it necessary? Do you know?
Blanching.
Like they say that you have to break the cell walls so it dehydrates, right? To blanch carrots.
Do you see in nature anybody break the cell walls?
No.
Look at nature. No one's doing that.
But I don't
And everything's fine.
Ya uno pepinillo.
Yeah, they said that for.
Now, are you getting that odor?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I came for. It's amazing.
Isn't that awesome?
It is. It is.
You see, in a store-bought organic carrot, there's no odor. So something is not there. You lost something.
Right.
This is why this picking and eating is the only way to live.
And Paul, again, you're not thinning them.
Well, why should I?
I love it.
I mean, when you thin, you're taking away from what you planted and you paid for. What's up with that?
I like your answer last year better.
What?
And that is, your soil is so awesome, it just pushes each other out of
Well,
the
it's
way.
so soft, they can. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, I like that one.
It's true.
Tastes better than.
Carter, I want that to sit on you so that you're not going to get burned. I don't know. Got sunscreen on you, but that's too hot.
So all these carrot tops you can put in the wagon over here. Please don't put them on the ground.
Do you still have your chickens, Paul?
Yeah, that's what we're going there
That's
next.
what I thought. Our little pile here is for chickens.
Yeah, there's a wagon there. We can put it all in there.
Taste the...
We're gonna. Is anybody here growing rice in their garden?
Come taste that. Yeah, can you believe it? You could put that in your salad. Is that unreal?
Anybody growing rice in their garden?
No.
Why not?
Need a lot of water.
Oh, really?
You have to have a bog.
I have rice right down there.
You did it this year?
Yep.
Oh, I have to look. You did rice?
I'm growing rice in my wood chips, and I didn't water it. It rained.
Yeah.
You threatened to do it.
I finally found some cool person in Costa Rica sent me some seed because all the organic rice in the store has been radiated and won't germinate.
Oh.
Isn't that scary? All your
That is
food,
scary.
organic food that you buy is radiated. It won't germinate. It's supposed to be sweet. That's how it was made.
You need somebody to pull it?
I can. So while you're out there, sample some of that kale because it's really good. All kinds of kales in there. About 5 varieties.
And all of this you give to the chickens?
Yeah.
This is tasting like in my grandma's yard.
See now, isn't that good? Did you hear? Listen, everybody hear me. This woman just made a really cool comment. She says, "This is tasting like it did in my grandmother's yard." And I want you to get that this culture doesn't even know what food tastes like. I'm serious.
Yeah, very true.
It's, you see, chemical fertilizers destroyed all of our food. Her grandmother's yard was before the chemical fertilizers.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Very good.
Thank you. That was such a good observation.
And the smell and the taste, everything.
Does anybody have a water bottle they want filled?
Oh,
We're at a place right now where you have the potential of getting the coldest, most delicious water on the planet.
How about a cup?
But somebody's going to have to work a bit because my water is 130 feet down and you got to lift it for 130 feet. But when you get it, it's going to be the best. So if somebody's up to it, you can start pumping and then get all your water bottles out because this is going to be totally cold. I mean really cold, delicious water. It's going to make your day. He's lifting water 130 feet.
Oh, it does work, Mom.
This is
I
here
tried
because
earlier, but I didn't know
if
how
the
many
power
pumps.
goes out,
Yeah.
I gotta have water.
Michael, pay attention to that.
When the power fails, if you don't have a hand pump, you're not gonna have water.
How many feet did you say?
I want one on ours.
Oh, okay.
Pay attention what you're saying.
And you know what I did here? You see at the bottom of that? I created a hose thread so I can run a hose to my house so I don't have to carry the water.
I'm gonna need a drink after this.
It's 130 feet. 130 feet is a long ways. And see, he's lifting water 130 feet.
Was that your second well?
This is the second well. This water here is this is a well 130 feet, 20 gallons a minute. It's the most awesome water on the planet. It's so good. He's just about there. It's coming.
It's not like you can quit.
No, now he's almost there. You don't want to stop now.
How did I get in on this?
Now this is where you get upper body exercise. You get your blood going through your veins, so don't create hardening of the arteries. And this is good for us.
Yeah, here,
Let him take over. Let this young guy take over.
No, let it sit.
No.
There you go.
There it is. Poor guy, you were just there. Let him fill that cup up.
That's so funny.
Now check out the flavor and the temperature of that water. It's so awesome.
Go. Here. Hold it.
Is that good water?
It is.
That was almost worth it, huh?
Almost.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to miss this
You're fine.
sprinkler thing here. There we go.
Drink that water while it's cold because it's so good cold.
Thank you, sir.
Here.
Oh, you can put these in there. Right there. Right. That all goes to the chicken.
Mama is doing everything like you.
It works.
Yeah.
Did you get water?
I did. I have a question.
Yes.
I've before I moved from here to Arizona, they were talking about voodoo. Do you recommend getting that, or someone said they give the animals antibiotics and stuff, and that'll be in the voodoo?
Yes. Don't get it.
Don't get it.
All your animal products today are full of growth hormones and antibiotics. It's not safe to eat.
Okay.
All your dairy, all your meat is corrupted.
Okay.
It's sad. Everything's been changed. It's not how it used to be.
Plus all the zoo animals are in cages standing in their own manure, and so they have to be medicated to ward off everything because of that.
Antibiotics.
So then they pile up the manure, and then you take it and put it on your garden, and then you're getting all the medicine that was in the...
Let me tell you about manure. This guy's talking about zoo animals because of all the toxic pills are given to deal with disease. In Mother Earth News here a few years ago, there's an article about this poor family in the Midwest who've been growing a garden in this spot for like decades, a good garden. They went and got this cow manure and they tilled it in. Nothing grew. They found out that the farmer had sprayed 2,4-D Agent Orange over the pasture to get rid of all the broadleaf weeds. It was in the manure and totally took out their entire garden. You know, this is what I like about wood chips. Wood chips are clean. Manures, you got to know what the animals ate because they may not be good for your soil.
I have a comment. Went on a road trip from here all the way to New York City, and
all the way through Nebraska, all the cornfields they were growing at that time, they had that GMO sign. All the corn in Nebraska is GMO. I didn't know if you knew that.
You know what genetically modified organisms are? They're an affront against the Creator. Because it's uncreating what God created.
But smaller one, dog.
It's all poisonous, and it's not sustainable because GMO plants do not produce seed after their own kind. And once you're there, you're totally dependent on who produces the seed. And it's dead. It's totally dead. And nothing in nature, no animal in nature eats genetically modified corn. Only domesticated cows do, and domesticated chickens, because nothing in nature knows, everything in nature knows that it's poison, and unsafe to eat.
Is this a new puppy?
This is a new puppy.
Oh, because I thought the other one was a new puppy.
No, the other one's an old dog, and she's a sweet dog, but she's not a good deer repellent.
Yeah, she's not like your other one.
This one here is a Labrador, and I feel so thankful for her. She is a very, very unusual breed. You never see a Labrador that color.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They're usually golden, chocolate, or black. This is a red fox Labrador.
Oh, wow.
And I'm telling you, she is smart, and I'm already, she's not even that big, and the deer damage in my orchard has dropped off significantly. It's just awesome.
Did you have to get her far, far away?
Yeah, the guy who raised me lives in front of Mount St. Helens.
Oh.
And what was so cool about him, because my wife is kind of outgoing and pretty expressive, and he allowed her to get pick of the litter. She was the biggest, smartest, without a question, of every female in that litter. She came up 16, but she was like, with over the top, the best.
And so, you wanted a female, not a male?
Because males hike on your plants and pee, and you know what's awesome about dogs? Is that Labrador, that golden retriever, has never defecated anywhere in my yard for her whole life here. I have no idea where she does, but she is smart, and she knows how to please. And she's teaching this dog how to do it. And I'm telling you, I find none of her poop anywhere, because I'm feeling so thankful, because it's a hassle. I have to pick up poop all the time. And it just doesn't happen, because this one's learning from the other one how to do it invisibly.
Are your neighbors still talking to you?
Well, that's smart.
Are your neighbors still talking to you?
No, I have a lot of woods back here. There's a lot of space that I don't see. And but I feel so thankful. It's just awesome. It's so good.
You talked about your water, and I didn't hear everything. You said you got it from the glacier. Is it?
Yeah, this is coming from the glaciers in the Olympics up there. And what I have here is the most amazing arrangement on the planet. You have some time, I want to share with you a testimony that's huge. When I bought this property in 1976, I got this 5 acres with that mountain view for $12,500, which was very cheap then. And I found out why. Up here, water was a real challenge to find. You had wells ranging anywhere from 40 to 300 feet, no volume, hardly any water. So when I came to that realization, fear rose up. Fear, like, what do I do? I gotta get water. I want to go 300 feet. And so I hired a Seventh-day Adventist, because I knew it wasn't demonic, to douse for me. Okay? I knew it wasn't going to be evil, But I was motivated by fear. And in Romans it says, whatever's not of faith is sin. I love the Bible. It just doesn't leave it. Whatever's not of faith is sin. Fear is sin. And so he's out here and he douses. We get a well back there, 213 feet, half a gallon a minute, no water. Half a gallon a minute is barely going to support a home, much less a garden. And so that's when the Creator showed me how to go choose that water. So it's very cool. So 12 years later, the economy had really fallen. No one's building houses, and the well driller had gone from $28 a foot down to 14. I says, Carol, let's drill a well. Let's just pray and ask God to lead the well driller where a good well is. We may not be able to put a pump in it, but it's not going to get cheaper. Let's just go for it. So we sat at our table, we repented, and God told my wife, you're going to get a well 130 feet, 20 gallons a minute. She tells me this. She says, you're crazy. That's 40 times the volume, half the depth. She says, I heard 130 feet, 20 gallons a minute. I know what I heard. That's what he told me. So she's holding on to it. She's in a birth center in Texas, and I went. The well driller showed up. I left because when you go to the casino, you can leave when you're losing money. When you're drilling a well, you can't. And you're watching your dollars go down this hole, and you have no guarantees. So I'm out of here. So I come back, and my neighbor says, you should call the guy. He's only here for about 4 hours. Now, this guy's an agnostic. He's a scientist. He doesn't believe in a creator. He says, you know, an interesting day at your place is when we start drilling in this kind of a space, we don't start looking for water till we hit 150 feet. At 150 feet, we start paying attention. He says, I'm going through all this blue clay. It's all blue clay, it's all you have. At 130 feet, I started hitting boulders. I'm not talking about gravel, I'm talking about large-sized rocks. And there's something inside, I'm quoting him, something inside says, give it a surge. He said, I gave it a surge, and this 4-inch pipe went limp with water coming out.
Wow.
And he says, he was in total shock. He went back down again, and in 5 feet he's back in blue clay. You have something I've never seen before. You have an underground river surrounded by blue clay in a rock formation 5 feet deep.
Wow.
And you see that casing coming out of the ground over there? It's 3 feet above the ground. What the well report reads, 133 feet, 20 gallons a minute.
Wow.
Now let me tell you something what's awesome about my Creator. When I was thanking him for this well, you know what he told me?
No, I got it. Thank
He
you.
says, Paul, that water is always there for you, but I want you to learn a few things first. And here's what's awesome. I want you to hear this. God used my failure, my sin, my fear, to create a platform for me to impact the whole world. And then he gives me this well. I love it. You see, had I had this well up front, you wouldn't be here today, and I wouldn't be having the garden, because I'd still be tilling, and I couldn't anymore. So I so love my Creator. He calls those things are not as though they are. He takes a failure and he makes it a success because he can. And it's just so awesome.
And I wouldn't be having potatoes grow in my moss if
It's awesome. And I get so blessed. I mean, people all over the world are getting this, they're getting amazing gardens, they're getting well. That's because I made a mistake. I was in fear, but I repented, and I get to do this. It's so cool.
It's awesome.
So I always say God is so fun to work with.
Paul, thank you ever so much.
You're so welcome. Well, you can go if you want, but we're not done because we'll go to your garden. And I want you to taste the rest of some of my food over here. And I want you to see my rice. Because I got cool rice room.
I've got a question about your corn. My corn are 14 feet tall right now. Just putting on a top cap. No corn coming up. Yours are what? 4 or 5 feet tall?
And look at all this.
It's big.
Look at that. Look at that. Small, and look at the beautiful ears already happening. And they're going to be awesome. And it never gets to the house because I eat it right here because it's so tender and good. It's awesome.
Almost went into tears looking at it.
So remember the word.
Organic heirloom corn called
Remember
Remember? Okay.
you go to Fedco and you get spring corn.
Spring
Remember
corn.
the word spring?
Okay.
Buy spring corn and that's what it is. Awesome.
Yeah, but I just could not believe it when I saw your corn. And I have these mammoth things doing nothing.
Because they're like late going to this big one. It's not that hungry.
Okay. You have to
Adjust the window. That corn there gets such amazing, beautiful ears, totally full, and it never gets to the house. I bite into it and I get wet because it's just so full of water and it's so sweet. It's just like over. Why cook it, man? It's so tender and sweet. It's so good. No, not you.
You know what I learned? My garden, I don't have to use this cane so much, but if I go shopping when I'm on hard concrete, I can't
I'll
walk.
take it.
Right. But I can garden off in your garden.
What's that? Which? Well, this is screen wood chips. See, I screen it. I take those wood chips there and I run it through a screen, and they get the fine material. So all the heavy stuff is out there.
Like you got a darker compost
Yeah,
pile over
yeah.
there.
You know why it's dark? Because it was in a big pile of that rock.
Oh yeah,
Mine are 14 feet. And it's good to put on the tassel.
So pick this, because this kale's really good. Everybody has some kale. Because usually kale's bitter, and this isn't.
I did a 64 and a 4x4 bed. And there's immense. Right? They're poor. They're poor.
Like the redwoods.
Well, yeah, because the closer you plant, the more corn you get because they self-pollinate. But I ain't getting ready to do that. I don't have corn. I just have stalks. Which mine are full of water because I had a wind pick out 4 of them.
Lacinato.
And when I cut it off, it just poured water
It's also called dinosaur and Tuscan.
And I'm like, well, maybe it's because I'm watering too much.
That's lacinato.
That they're so tall and I get no
It is.
No cost.
This is called rainbow lacinato.
Oh, okay. Well, if it doesn't get cold till the end of October like it does sometimes, it will get cold.
Kale is such good food. It's really good for you.
But there's no water.
So you're also growing rice.
What I do is I take my chicken
I remember
manure,
last
it's not
year
manure,
when I
it's
saw his video
compost,
last year, he
and
said
in
he
the
was
fall,
going to try it.
I'll put a light covering over it all and I'll put bushes over it. So I sandwich it. Because the wood chips make a much nicer
No, I doubt that.
That's all
And I
GMOs.
find they also weeds don't develop. That's my compost over there, weeds just like
Even the stuff that says organic nowadays, they're just slapping a label on it and calling it organic. You can't trust that it's organic.
Now everybody here, come down here and pick some of that broccoli and see how good it is.
No, I did.
You did?
I did. It's so good.
Isn't that good?
And it's gone to flour.
And it's still good. You know what I have to do now? I have to come here every week and cut out all this stuff that's gone to flour because I can't possibly keep up eating it because it's producing so much.
We got all that 90-degree weather at the end of April and May, and my broccoli shot to seed, so I cut it real quick, and my husband and I tried to eat it. It was so bitter.
Because it wasn't well. Would you do me a favor while you're there? You see that plant that's uprooted right here, right in front of you here? Yeah. Just bring it to me. Get a big piece. Yeah, break that off down to the bottom and see how tender the stem is.
Oh, okay.
Start the stem and see how tender that is. Because you're gonna blow your mind. That good?
It's not even better.
It's not supposed to be. The creator didn't make it because it was not well. You see all these cucumbers coming on here? It's gonna be awesome.
Break my back and fail like you.
All this amazing, look at all these flowers.
He is afraid of
Now
dogs.
everybody, you see
He's
this
okay.
grass right here in my lawn, in my garden? That's rice. That's rice there.
So you had someone send that?
Because I couldn't find seed, and my good friend Wayne here, that nub, excuse me, he photographed this thing. I can't get seed, and some cool guy in Costa Rica sent me this rice seed, and there it is.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Nice.
So go down there and pick some cilantro. It's starting to bolt, but you can snap off the top part that's bolting and just see how good it is. Because it's really delicious. This cilantro, you've never had cilantro taste like that. It's so good. Go down toward the end where it's really thick. You can break off that top piece that's going to seed, and you'll blow your mind how good it is. That's carrots for winter. I got 2 rows of carrots for winter.
So do you have good judges?
Now who?
Not bitter at all.
It's not
Still
supposed
sweet.
to be. Didn't you hear me yet?
I keep losing all my food. I'm doing. No, I hear you. I hear you.
Now for those of
You
you,
have proven
those of you
yourself.
who you see all these, you see these carrots coming up. This is for winter. This will grow all summer long, and in the winter, and have awesome carrots all winter long. Because actually,
So just leave them in the ground?
they get when the ground freezes, they get sweeter. So my winter carrots are far
That's
better
what I
tasting
heard, that
than the
in the
summer
winter,
ones. They're
it's.
so
I
much.
just started
Does that work
another
with
one.
every root?
All
like
root vegetables.
With the
So that's
beets
why
and everything?
always I got
Beets,
beets
yes.
planted everywhere for winter because it's so good. You see, all winter long you have this live food. which is, you know, see, I never go to the store ever, any time of year, because my garden produces everything.
Oh, and peas too.
Peas too?
Peas, they'll grow in the snow, won't they?
Peas are pretty hardy. You can plant them in February, you know, when it's really cold, and they're just hardy. They don't last long, but they're very hardy. Now, does anybody have soil they think is impossible to work with? Like, you know, hard clay or rocks? Anybody? Nobody?
I do.
Because if you think you got hard stuff to deal with, I want you to go behind my house, right here, and look at my soil.
Oh, I did. Yeah, when we went to the bathroom.
My soil is, you can't break with a pick. And I want you to get that everything you're eating from here has that under it. And when I put the wood chips on it, it changed everything. It's really powerful. The wood chips change it all. It's just so significant. So we'll go over here to the herb garden. As we're headed there and I'm slow, you can take your time, go along the fence, and that row of a hedge of blueberries, they're starting to get ripe. So when they're really dark blue, pick them.
Yes.
Don't get the ones that aren't because they're not good, but the ones that are dark blue are really good.
You want to go? Just make sure you don't step on your toes.
There's more food value in that cart than there is in the whole grocery store.
Oh, I know. You're going to see my chickens in a minute before I get on to it.
Called purple sage.
Oh yeah.
Cameraman, you're not supposed to be taking this.
Yeah, I'm growing the purple sage and pineapple sage. That smells like pineapple. How fun. Oh, it tastes like pineapple. It doesn't taste like pineapple.
I got my steering box. It's so cool. People who did it took a picture of my truck and put it on the calendar. Relented steering. That is so awesome. That's so, my truck is like brand new. I've never had steering this tight though. It is so awesome. It's like right there. It's like, I've always been doing this, like, you know, I've always gotten worn out steering boxes. I found this company who rebuilds them. It's like, oh man, it totally changed my life. It's so good.
Well, their tolerances on machining are so tight now.
Well, it's just, you know, when you have 1 million miles on something, you know, some things wear out. Just a few. And that doesn't have power steering, so you're really cranking on it.
Steering by Armstrong.
Yeah, so it's the gears get worked on.
Yeah, but for most of your stuff on that truck, you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, everything that can break, I have a lifetime warranty, so I'm fine. It's fine. The only thing I pay for on that truck are tires.
Please pray for me. They are coming this afternoon.
Let them be happy.
So they did, and she said,
Yeah, J.C. Penney's made a fatal mistake. They sold me a lifetime warranty battery in 1974 for $50. And now they're paying $140. The last time I went, it was so, because the cashiers have no idea, what is this? They never saw it before, you know? So the manager comes, and he's got this kind of like, not happy look on his face. He says, "Can I buy you out?" And I says, "No." I says, this is your idea. Sign up. This is your commitment, and I'm just going to hold you to it. And so thank you.
When you're 100 years old, you're still going to be going and getting batteries.
Yeah, because my truck will still be running. You know what's interesting about that truck? The Army did a thing over here where they took out the grid. It's a test thing. And everybody's calling the car manufacturers. We can't open our car. We're pressing the button. Nothing works. And I says, yeah, we've got calls. The Army's doing something over there. And so people don't realize is that when it all shuts down, my truck will be the only thing rolling. Because there's nothing, no computer anywhere on that.
Right.
My wife always says, keep gassing your truck because you might be the only one moving, you know. Because all these new cars are all computerized, and they're completely be stopped by the grid being taken out.
Yeah. Well, you have 2 gas tanks in there, right?
Yep. I have a 500, let's see, a 600-mile range of that truck.
And how many reverses do you have?
I have 2-speed reverse, 8-speed forward.
And the extended frame to me is priceless.
Yeah, and see, having that toolbox behind the bed, the original bed, is so convenient.
Oh yeah.
All your and then that elongated frame, it's so awesome. You know, it's just like that truck is just so unique. It's like the only one in the world. And even in this day, if you read the insignia on the side, it says job rated.
Right.
Below this little decal says custom regal. They only made 300 of them. If you look at the truck, the windows are wraparound. No truck that age, they're all flat in the back. This thing are wraparound windows. I mean, it's like a totally rare breed. Aren't those blueberries good? Blueberries. I heard the blueberry word. Now I want to show you guys something interesting here. If you don't know about tomatoes, there's 2 types of tomatoes. They're called determinate and indeterminate. Those are indeterminate, and you can see they're just growing everywhere. And you see this little tiny thing by the building up here? That's determinate. You see how small that plant is and it's full of tomatoes, right? That's the difference. Determinate are so convenient to work with because they don't grow like crazy and they produce a lot of fruit. But because this variety is my favorite, it's called the Sun Gold, I put up with the indeterminate all over the place. Now, does anybody, any herb people here? People like do herbs? Thyme. Right there. Be very careful when you taste it because it's going to totally blow you away because it's so potent. But I want, no, tiny piece because that's good. Okay. Yeah, you'll see. You'll see.
This is thyme, right?
Yeah, look how potent. Everybody, I want you to get how potent it is. No thyme you've ever bought in the store is like that. Last week, I had a naturopathic doctor came here who has been all over the United States going to herb farms because she treats with herbs. And her frustration is, everywhere I go, the quality is terrible. And she's really frustrated.
Wow.
She came here last week.
Very tiny piece.
And she saw over here at the corner of that fence is a woman's herb called black cohosh. And you can see the beautiful white flowers at the top. She says, I have never in my life seen black cohosh this big and so vibrant in any herb garden.
Wow.
And that plant's only 2 years old. You know what's cool about it? Black cohosh only grows in full shade. That is in full sun, south facing.
Wow. Are you talking about the ones with the white?
Yeah, that's black cohosh. And it's supposed to grow in full shade.
Wow.
The lady was totally blown away. She could not believe, because I've been to herb farms. I've never ever seen this.
Icy time. That is super strong.
So to take that away, get some onion chives there because it's sweeter.
Oh, why do you have your basil?
Because it's not warm enough here to grow outside. You see the glass, you know, keeps it warm. I put the roof off so I get sun, but I don't.
So you only keep the sides and not the.
The reason, let's talk about this greenhouse, everybody. You have a minute, because this is very important. I want you to hear. Is that you don't realize what's happened to your food. Back in the 50s, when I grew up in Los Angeles, See, I come from a Swiss German culture. My skin is light, and when I get in the sun, I burn. And I used to go to the beach every day in the summertime to surf, and I'd be peeling all summer long, totally peeling my skin off, because I'm light skinned.
Yeah.
Back in the 50s, skin cancer did not exist. There was no such thing. Because back in the 50s, everyone ate tomatoes that were growing outside in full sun. Everyone. There were no greenhouses. And here's why. They tested a sun-ripened tomato. And what they found? 300 phytochemicals in a sun-ripened tomato. Now let me explain why. You look at a tomato skin. This beautiful, smooth, gorgeous, no bumps. I mean, any woman gives anything for skin like that. Tomato skins are beautiful. Why doesn't it blister? It's getting 100-degree sun blazing on it, full blast, and it stays totally smooth because it has a phytochemical that protects it from blistering. They took a same heirloom tomato and grew it in the greenhouse, and they found 50 phytochemicals. 250 were lost with light going through glass because it interrupts photosynthesis. Today in Seattle, where there's no sun, people have skin cancer. Skin cancer is worldwide because all tomatoes today are grown in greenhouses. The Creator made for them. And I want you to hear me. Everybody follow me. When do tomatoes get ripe? When? What time of year?
Now.
August, September, when the sun's the hottest. You think that's a coincidence, an accident? And in cool climates where there's no sun, tomatoes won't grow because you don't need them. The Creator made everything so perfect. It's awesome. It's totally awesome. And this is the whole concept of why you should eat food fresh in season, period. When stuff shows up is when you're supposed to eat it. When it's not there, you shouldn't. Here's why you should eat tomatoes. When they're not there, they're a nightshade. They're not good for you. And people in our culture, I always tell you affluent people, you live really boring lives. You buy the same garbage in the store every week, and it's really terrible. And that's all you know. And so affluent people are buying tomatoes in January when there's no sun. And they have no flavor, they're totally gross, and they're paying big dollars for them. What's the point? They're not good for you, they don't taste good, and you don't need them. And you're buying them out of season. It's totally stupid. I mean, really. So, has anybody ever been to a chicken pen?
Yes, we have one.
If you go to commercial chicken pens, they stink. I want you to notice this one doesn't. And when you come to chicken pens, the chickens run up to you because they think you have something for them and they're hungry. You notice my chickens, they'll ignore you. Because they're satisfied. Now I want to show you, you're going to watch my chickens here now just come into like the most awesome moment of their life. So I'm going to take this wheelbarrow of nutrient-dense live food, wagon, and totally bless it.
I know they're all like,
In the chicken pen? No, that's a wooden floor. And I have wood chips over it.
yeah. And you just let it go, right?
You know what's awesome about that? If you go in there, if you go into chicken pens, the ammonia will choke you. You walk in there, there's no odor at all. And you see, because the wood chips are there, as they defecate in it and they homogenize it into the wood chips, you can't even find it. And that material trapped me. There's no rain reaching it out. There's no weed seed in it. That is the most amazing soil for my garden. Are you starting to get all the assets? You see over here, this is like 2 feet deep, the most amazing black gorgeous compost. All comes from my yard waste that they compost. Wooden floor. Plywood wooden floor. And it'll never change. I do it about every year. I take it out. And because the cover's there, the floor is never hurt, there's no compaction, and there's no odor.
Hey, Paul?
Yes?
Did you talk about this plant in front of the blueberry?
The wasabi.
Oh, yeah.
I'm growing wasabi in front of my blueberries. You know where wasabi grows in nature? in standing water in full shade, only. And you know what I've done? If you look over here in front of my wasabi, there's sage growing. You see that little bush on there, multicolored? That's sage. You know where sage grows? In deserts with no water. And I'm growing them side by side to show you that in nature there's no issues. Here's the other thing that's cool. You see that lavender right there behind you? Right here behind me, that lavender? You know what lavender is, pH? Alkaline. Very high alkaline. You see the blueberry next to it? You know what that pH is? It's acid. And I want you to see they're growing side by side because in this environment the pH is 7.0. Perfect center. And at center, everybody's happy. What I'm getting is that this system is so well designed. What the creator told me about the wasabi, because I couldn't figure out how I could grow side by side two opposites. You know what he told me? He says there's enough airspace in the wood chips for the sage to hang out in the open spaces and avoid the water. But if the wasabi wants the water, it can go where it is, but they have the option. And what I saw was, in this environment, everything is there, and the plants can choose.
Oh yeah, there it is.
It's so powerful.
The textbook tells you that blueberries need
Acid. That's what I'm telling you. And what I want to show you with your eyes seeing it, blueberries are growing right next to my lavender, which says it has to be alkaline.
That doesn't make sense.
It makes sense because we got lied to in the textbooks. The textbooks are all liars. You know why? Let me give you the spiritual reason why everything you read in textbooks are lies. Who's the God of this world? Who's he the father of? Get it. I'm being serious. Connect the dots. If he's in charge of this whole system, everything you're getting from the school system are lies. And you know the Bible refers to the school system, both public school, lower, the lower grades and higher education. In the first chapter of Psalms, here's how it goes. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. That's public education. Nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. That's higher education. Every university scorns and downgrades God and his word, every one of them. And God says, you don't go there. But your delight is in the law of the Lord, his word and his law he meditates there. And here's the result. You'll be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth his fruit in his season. And I love this last part. And whatever you do will prosper.
Yeah.
That is the recipe for success. If you're connected to God's word and you're thinking about it, whatever you do is going to work. And here's the insanity of higher education. I'm speaking insanity with uppercase letters. The people teaching in universities are not good at what they're doing, otherwise they'd be doing it because they make far more money doing than talking about it. I'm being real. And so you're paying money to learn from novices. Where if you look at human history, from the beginning of time, people who are good learn from masters. They found a master and they apprenticed and worked with them, and that was their credential. Oh, you learn from so-and-so, oh, you're going to be good because they were. And if you look at Scripture, Moses mentored Joshua. Jesus mentored 11 disciples. Paul mentored Timothy and Titus. I mean, mentoring is the best way to learn because the master's showing you how to do it. He's not talking about it. He's showing you, he's demonstrating it. And you're learning because you're seeing it. It's so powerful. And it makes such sense. I had a young woman come here from North Carolina. She called me on the phone and says, can I come out and learn from you? I says, yeah, you can come here. So we're out in the garden weeding, she says, you know, I'm having a really hard time trying to figure out what school to go to. I says, the reason you're having a hard time is because you shouldn't go. She says, what? It's a waste of your time and money. You shouldn't go there. And so I explained to her, so you want to learn from a master. This is, well, how do you, this is, you find what you want to do, and you find something good, and you go follow them. I'm going to show you. I took her behind my house and said, I want to show you how to prune a tree. So I have this vine maple, and it's taking my window out upstairs. So I said, I want you to watch how I change this. So I cut a branch off, and I took my prunes, and I whacked all the ends off. And you see how this looks? That's how all the people who go to college prune trees. This is your right. That's how they look where I live. Does that look good to you? No. So watch what I do. I get in the tree, and I take this major cut, this big, center, and in one cut, I drop the thing 15 feet. And the tree looks, and then I do a few adjustments, and the tree looks totally gorgeous, like I didn't do anything. And she says, I could do that. That makes sense. And I said, you know what happened? You were outside for 20 minutes in clean air at no cost, and you watch the master, and you have the confidence to do this because you saw how it's done. You get what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man, you watch the master, they explain it, and you get it. I can do that. It's simple. Or if you're sitting in a dead classroom, you're drinking coffee to stay awake, it's totally boring, you read this dead book, you're doing these tests, and you're miserable. No connection. There's no connection to life. And it's all theory. And it has no impact. It's totally dead. It's just so like, really? So true. Do me a favor? I'm gonna open this gate and have you close up. I want you to watch how these chickens so love life. Stay over there. Flip it over and watch it. Don't start coming. Dinner bell. Yeah, now this is see, this is the most nutrient dense food in the world my chickens are eating. That for me was yard waste. Would be an irritant to have to chop up in a compost place to deal with. And these are my chickens getting some amazing food right here. And you come back in a few hours, you won't see anything because they'll eat it all. Total recycle. Total recycle. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's what the textbook says, give them corn.
Give them corn.
GMO corn.
Yeah, GMO corn, to be specific.
Yeah. See, my chickens right now, I want you to hear me, are eating food better than most of the people in the world eat.
It's true, it's true.
I mean, those are the beets you guys just ate that they're eating. And you know how much that cost me? You know what you pay for chicken food? It's expensive. You know what's sad about chicken food? It's all dead food. Because when you crack a grain, it dies. And all chicken food is cracked grain. And you're paying a fortune to feed your chickens dead food. It's so insane how we live. We don't think. We don't think. Now you see my willow tree there? That was planted intentionally to create a barrier and protection for my chickens from all the eagles and hawks, because they can't get through it. And you see what I did underneath it? You see that tree growing underneath my willow tree, the fig tree? You know why it's there? Because when all my figs are gone, that one there gets right because it's in the shade, it's set back. And so I elongate my fig season by planting in the shade.
That's cheating, Paul.
It's not cheating, it's asking God and paying attention and learning how to get cool things out of what would be to most people a negative.
Yeah.
This is shade, but
it.
you plant your sun-loving things in shade to extend the harvest time. It's so cool. Yay, God. I love God. He's awesome. Well, I guess this is where we come to an end. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer you. Otherwise, I'm blessed you could see this and enjoy it.
It's amazing.
And I just want you to look around at these plants in here and just realize their health. This space, like my orchard, has ever been watered, ever. Ever. And just look at
St. John's wort itself.
what's that?
St. John's.
St. John's wort, yeah. And look at the calendula. I mean, everything. I mean, the strawberries. I mean, is there anything that doesn't look healthy? And I don't do anything. I want you to get no water. And I don't do anything. Just they take care of themselves because the ground is supporting them. And that's how everything in nature operates.
Well, how would you prune blueberries?
Like everything, you prune open.
Open.
You see this? See, that's the prune blueberry. See how those are pruned? See how open they are? And look at the amount of berries on them.
We just put blueberries in this year, so I don't.
So
when do I prune them?
when you feel like doing it,
Oh.
when it's convenient. Now, for me, the convenient time to prune my trees is in the winter when there's no leaves. Here's what's cool about winter. During the winter time, there's no lawn to mow. There's no garden to take care of, no weed support, and all the leaves are out, so it's very convenient. I have time. But if something shows up during the summer that doesn't belong there, I go after it. Because I'm not contained, restricted at any time of year. I can do it anytime I want, but it's all about convenience. Make it easy for yourself. You see, when it's convenient, it's fun. When you have to do it by this date, it's a drag. It's miserable. Like, really? I don't live like that. So this word of convenience is really significant to me. It's just like, it makes life so fun. Just do it when you want, when you can. You know? And it's just so cool. You get out here, you know, and you see if you get inside, you start by getting all the stuff that crosses over. You open it up, and you just start adjusting. And it's just so, it's an art form, and it's really enjoyable. It's not like just hacking and butchering and making something look bad.
Is this a new blueberry?
It's not that new, but it's kind of new. But it's.
How do you like just buy a new blueberry plant?
Yeah, there's this nice place. I buy plants. There's this nice place called it's in Onalaska called Burnt Ridge Nursery, and they have a wonderful variety of blueberries.
Yeah.
And they have one I want to get. It's supposed to grow 8 feet.
Oh.
I'd love to have an 8-foot blueberry. That would be awesome.
Where are they located?
They're in Onalaska, Washington.
How far away from you?
I don't know. I haven't been there, but
I tried to order some Olympias, and they won't ship them.
who won't ship them?
That place you told me to call.
Why won't they ship Olympia?
I'm clear down in Southern Oregon.
I wonder why.
They said something about it would weigh 35 pounds, and they won't ship that big. It's bulky and heavy.
Well, tell them they have smaller plants.
Oh.
I want smaller plants, so please ship it, because they do have smaller ones. So just, don't give up. Say, listen, I need those plants, because those, if you look at those things are, that's along the heads there, and I've never seen a blueberry start produce in July, and in October when the wind blows, the ground's blue below. They last so long. It's just, they just keep coming and
I
coming.
liked the height when we came here last year.
Yeah.
Mine I put in this year, they're like about this tall.
This is an amazing variety. So just tell them, I want you to ship the size you can, because I want.
I just went on their order list.
Yeah, well, just call them up and get on the phone with them and say, I want you to ship what you can,
Okay.
and they can.
Awesome.
What flavor is it?
Olympia.
Olympia.
It's the most amazing variety, and it's very, very not well known. Not many people know about it.
The only two blueberries are already gone.
The only two people that carry it is Burnt Ridge and Rain Tree. Now, Rain Tree charges twice as much for them.
You mean they're out of season or dead?
Out of season.
Yeah, so I bought one of every. I read the label and I got one to take me all the way through to
I did the same thing.
October. 'Cause I'm selfish.
Blueberries are awesome food, and they'll produce for your whole life. They're a wonderful plant.
Yeah.
A lot of antioxidants.
Yeah, really good.
My raspberries are done too. But I saw you had some.
Yeah. You're hotter there, though. Yeah, quite a bit hotter, so that's probably why.
See, and I'm Southern Oregon. I'm struggling. I did this whole thing. In fact, he tells me a lot. I've called him several times, and he said, "Patience, Bev." I hate that word. Patience, patience, patience. But anyway, so I started praying for the wood chips, and I found this truck kind of behind a store, a feed store, and so I called them, and he goes, "Well, we kind of work for PP&L, and maybe we'll bring you 1 or 2." But it brought me 9 massive loads.
Awesome.
So my prayer got answered. That was kind of cool. But I'm hot down there. I think you answered my
Water.
question. I'm just not. I think once my pear trees, we never watered them because they were established before we bought the place. I think once I get them established,
You're good.
I'll be fine. But it's this little
Starting,
initial
because they don't have much of a root
thing
system.
right now. But we have wood chips, like
water.
your number, 19 inches thick.
Yeah, see, the water's not getting to the ground.
Yeah.
So that's-
And then we did the mistake of doing cardboard. I started changing to what you said, the painter's paper. I like that better.
Yeah, it's much easier to work. The
Yeah,
roll, yeah,
much
because
easier
it's
to work
so
with.
quick to lay out,
Yep.
and it's
thinner,
and it
but
breaks
yet
down
it's
quicker.
a barrier. I like that better. So, yeah.
See, cardboard's rigid. If you have dips, weeds will grow. Where that paper, when it gets wet, lays tight to the ground and
Right.
suffocates. So it just makes it work so much
Right.
nicer.
I could see it between the rows of the trees, but around it, anyway, lesson learned.
But you see, our mistakes are wonderful learning tools. They teach us,
Yeah.
and we need to see things in that light. It's not bad. You learn something, and so you're much better because of it.
Right.
And so it's all good.
And what about seeds?
Seeds, the ideal seeds is what you grow yourself until you get there. Fedco is a real good company. Baker Creek heirloom seed. Now,
I was going to say Baker Creek.
but you know, I find major poor pollinate. They're not good quality. I mean, a lot doesn't come up.
You said Baker, so I went home and did Baker. So I was trying to learn from the master, and what I did was I found a person on YouTube that takes a paper towel and puts like 6 or 8 of those seeds, and then they spray the paper towel and put it inside a Ziploc bag, and every single one of mine germinated.
Sprouted.
Yeah. So
And then you can just set them out. You got plants.
Yeah.
What's the seed exchange one that you use?
I like Fedco. Fedco's my favorite because they have the greatest variety. They do carry some hybrid. I don't mess with those, but they have a really good selection, and they're very, very generous and honest, and just a cool company. I really like them. But the seed that I grow is the best because it's nutrient dense, and they also come up. They're good.
I'm collecting my comfrey seeds right now.
Yeah, awesome.
Where'd you find that?
Baker Creek.
Really? What kind of seed? I get mine out of Ireland, and it was the roots.
Yeah, I got seeds and planted them in just a little.
And Baker Creek, they also carry rice seed. I just found out. Yeah, Baker Creek carries rice.
Did you go to the spring planting this year at Baker Creek or not?
Yeah.
I was there too.
Oh no, I didn't go there. No.
Oh, okay.
No. I can't.
Too long a drive.
Oh, I know. No, it all went to seed, and I just today cut them all off and put them in my bag. My onions, collecting those seeds.
What did you just say about the flour?
Here you go.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Probably don't know if it's good.
Yes. Yeah.
We were traveling from Missouri and it was like right around the time, so we stopped in there.
Take over.
So if I
Yeah, I've heard a lot of. This is the first year I've heard of people going to that, but I hear everybody talking about it.
Mint.
Oh yeah, of course. John Kohler.
Horsetails, you know why? Because it's such a tender root, it breaks off. You can't get the whole root out.
All kinds of different people there. And then of course Baker Creek guy. I saw him. I didn't get to talk to him. He's pretty cool.
Well, that has been. Well, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. You'll be hearing from me.
Okay.
I always have to call you.
Fine. Good to hear from you.
They got some rare
Seems like you're either doing
like the water,
wood
like
chips
the
or processing through the chickens and then bringing that back
like
versus
Indian. They found them in
all
a
the different
cave.
varieties that you had
They were in
spoken
a little
about.
pot. They grew in the ground. They grew these watermelons. But they had like
Yeah, no, I
As
know.
you
I
get
love
older,
it.
as you get older, you learn what
like a
it's
handle.
good.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But that's you've sort of concluded.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah,
Keep it simple.
yes.
And I used to do a lot of steps. I don't have to like it.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that.
So
They say you
I'm
can't
always
do it in wood chips though, because the vines have to like dig back into the ground.
And a question for you on that note, because I have an appreciation for the aesthetic of I don't want to see droppings all over my yard. So is that mostly an aesthetic choice, like where you won't, for example, break something off and just drop it because you know it's going to go back to earth?
I don't like the look of
It's primarily aesthetic.
Yeah, I like order.
Me
Everything
too.
That's like right on.
Pumps and brush and stuff is done.
It does.
In a nice green place.
I agree.
And so take it all here and have them compost it, let it
Your
turn back-
processing
turn
plant.
back in that gorgeous black soil. It just makes more sense.
Yeah.
You know, that pile of stuff there is okay here, but in my garden, what's the rest of it?
I totally agree. Yeah, I've been through that too.
And so it's just, again, it's just how we're all wired differently, and some people like flowers, it's okay, I don't. And so what works for one may not for another, but it's okay.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. No, I appreciate that. I just didn't know if there was a reason beyond just the look of it. But it is so beautiful, and there's something very aesthetic about order. Exactly. I found it very nice to be able to take all the different elements and put them together in a way that brings order and brings life. And, yeah, what you're explaining out there is just it's compounding interest on all the soil. Keep turning it over and it keeps giving off more and more.
Right band Latino.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Drove up from Newport yesterday, visiting some friends. And, great drive up. Now I'm heading back down to LA.
You're gonna go through all that fire.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I'm gonna check that out. I think I'm gonna go along the coast.
That's nicer.
Yeah,
Much
slower,
nicer view.
but much nicer view. Yeah.
Much cooler.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, I bought 10 acres out there with the intention of rebooting, is what I call it. What you're doing is rebooting.
Yeah, I came from LA.
Yeah, I know.
I rebooted.
Yeah, no, I know. It's you know where Akron is at. My business is in Burbank, the foundation works, but I bought some land out in Akron, so lots we can do there. Yeah.
Well, I think I thought it's amazing what you are doing in your work, and that's you're really in a lot of space.
Yeah, you were my original inspiration, and I've been following it, and now it's time to get down to the practical.
Brother, we got to run system set up. Thank you. And then I'm growing vegetables solid all the way, like a cover crop. Thank you for bringing everything back. So I'm like supercharging into perfection.
That's cool when you can
And I've
have
been, yeah, it's, I mean, all of this is part of the open source seed initiative.
what I really agree for.
So
We're in the winning kingdom. We're on the winning side. Thank you.
You know, it's funny what he just said from the Cardman is something you mentioned earlier.
risk agreement or whatever, so like everything in open,
I gotta tell you,
you only get one-time use, can't give it away, can't
because
sell
you're
the
showing
fruit,
everyone else
give it away.
what's possible. So what
Can't
better
save it.
place than the creator to
So
use
the
you
open
as an
source
example?
seed
You know what, Paul? I'm gonna make these things
really
really big, like no one's ever seen it,
I
because
can-
this
I
is
can-
where everyone's coming to see what can
I
be
can work-
done.
I can work with
So,
and it says on it, by
kinda
personally
sense
using the seed, you retain
yeah,
full
no,
rights,
it's
you can save it, sell it.
I laugh when
Yeah.
I listen to you because
So,
it's like, oh man,
but
you've got
there's
this all
growers
figured
now
out.
that grow specifically non-GMO.
Look at how many things are on there.
That,
Awesome.
In fact, there's one in there's a really good one in Oregon. I want to drive down there.
Baker Creek, they have like hundreds of different growers. They don't grow all their own.
Right.
There's like a whole network of people.
I've got a mission fig
And I
tree,
think they do one in
black mission
California.
figs.
Then I mean, like say I mean, they have
The
satellites.
little yard munchers have been getting
So
most
if
of
they
them.
came, he said,
Yeah.
prove that that nut isn't our seed.
I guess they've got to
You
eat
have
too.
this document
Been a
from
while,
Open
Paul,
Source
but we
Seed
came
Initiative
here a
that
while
says what the
back.
variety was
And actually my mom
and
was
what
in
you
town,
sourced
so
it. You
we
just put it
bring
back in
her
the
out
file and
here.
you go, you can leave now.
Right. That's cool.
I was gonna ask you, does your wife use the black
We
cohosh?
do farming in
And then,
Iowa.
She's a midwife.
yes,
Farmers
I know.
because they're so safe.
And
Awesome.
absolutely.
Because I'm just
And
like,
I mean,
I'm like, okay, that's midwives, like, back
you
then. Yeah.
almost
It's really
can't
expensive.
You can't do non-GMO.
Choose tinctures and
The volume.
So our field here is non-GMO and that one's GMO.
You'd have to have a net or something over it.
You would have to have a concrete wall 30 feet
Doctor's
high.
office and
Or, so what they do is they have, the security in the
they're my patients. They're my clients.
Monsanto and Monsanto.
They're just having a baby.
Monsanto.
Yeah.
Have a healthy baby.
They'll do.
And you are what you
They'll
eat.
come out and
So
go,
she really
we found one
puts on
plant
their
in your field.
Exactly.
Because it's so critical in what you eat.
So then they take you to court.
Exactly.
And she just rules out all complications and stuff despite teaching you how to test.
You eat it, use their food.
And she travels the world
It's been done
teaching.
over and over and over in Canada. It's been done.
We talked about this all
Like,
of
you know,
this.
1,500 midwives from all over the world.
Yeah.
And you know what's so cool about it? She has no education. She has absolutely no education.
Learn from the expert. My husband is a retired judge in Freetown, Sierra Leone, West Africa. He's just started a farm. But you know, we have rainy season and dry season. He's growing rice, he's growing red rice. He's growing tomatoes. I was so happy when you say, because we eat tomatoes from the garden, you know, from the farm, and carrots. But my son has
I found some
started
in
a
there.
50 acre
They're
coconut
amazing.
plantation.
Yeah.
And he tried to introduce sweet potatoes. They have the white sweet potatoes, the red orange ones. We have problems with bugs. You know, it's tropical. So we've been battling.
Yes.
Our house.
Are they everywhere?
They're all over. There's one in Oregon.
From a medical perspective, all those
We have, there's, anyway, I mean, you may take, the bad thing about, and a lot of vegetables, certain portions.
The bad thing about those bugs, you don't really know what they put in there.
none of my produce ever look like this.
And Roundup, they have the Roundup Ready corn.
Those plants where you are.
Because they put Roundup DNA in the corn.
Right. And then, so the other thing with that is they have a
Just what He was trying to brew yeast, poultry waste, but like you say, it has the ammonia smell in the poultry waste, the chicken waste.
So you see here, this holds water. This is summer, and we had no rain.
They get on the flower.
Look, it's getting wet.
No, that's not wet.
Yeah, see, he has a spring that comes up from the ground, but it's dried out in the dry season.
So
Yeah, this one
material holds water. Explain why.
So I finally
This is my sequoia trees over here.
what's going on?
You see how dark green
Their tongue swells and suffocate to death.
and they die of my line of reasoning.
Well, what do they do?
How's the water, which is
GMO
right
corn
here,
and GMO soy.
get lifted from the ground
Then you
all
come
the
out
way to the
here
top
and you
and
go
out
to
the end of all those branches?
and the black is
That was
the skin thing where all the hair falls out and
Water's
it's heavy.
heavy.
Death in the winter.
It's going against gravity. It's being lifted and carried out to the ends of all those branches.
And then they'll have the cell.
How does that happen?
What do you do? You see a connection?
This is the same wood cell that's moving all that water up that tree. And it knows how to hold, transport, and release water better than anything on the planet. Are you following me?
So we plant generators and pumps and
Yeah.
solar panels and everything to get water.
When this does it the best. And it's all free. There's no work. But I just want you to start paying attention to demonstrations of nature because it's so powerful. God made it so simple, so totally awesome. And we don't love it. We don't pay attention. And we do all this hard stuff. It's toxic and expensive. It doesn't work.
They're all lined up.
I'm telling you, this is so awesome.
Well, we don't grow mushrooms. I'm a vegetarian.
If you put this stuff, you'll have mushrooms.
Okay, so that's what the next question. Because for my B12, I wanted to start.
Let me tell you something about wood chips and nothing else has.
I got 2 acres, but I haven't seen any spruce down over. I started that and I haven't really got into gardening yet. I'm actually working on the road. I got to work in construction. I slowly started to add that. I've done gardening before, but I haven't really got all the mulch.
Can you put this stuff down?
I've been watching it.
You're not living there yet?
I've just been watching it, looking at different people and seeing how they do it. It takes a long time to do.
He's the master gardener of the universe. The master, get it? To know him. And you know where we're going to all end up? In the garden. I love the word you might
In the new.
And everyone will be under their own vine. All God did not have plan B. He didn't have plan B. He's going back to the original. And it's not like he's a learner. He's practicing. And he did it right in front of you. So I tell people, I'll be doing this for the next 1,000 years. I just get geared up my future.
Exactly.
This is what we'll all be doing, man. So I'm getting geared up for it. You know something else about wood is powerful? Have you ever been in a house in the woods stove? You know how that immediate focuses on electricity, or propane, or gas. And notice what you're feeling right now in the sun. It's the same thing. It's the same as it's right through your body into your tissues. Trees right now are taking the photosynthesis in the sun, and they're storing it in the cells. You want to burn to get it back. It's the same trees are renewable, nothing else is.
I've watched a lot of people talk about when they plant right into the mulch. They have double.
Nothing gets better. It's the ultimate. Right now, I have what's that? That's a bird?
That's a raven.
A raven?
Is that what
A raven.
he's going?
See, the ravens are not happy because they know what's here.
And they want it.
And I demonstrate to them that they're not welcome to see the same things I think.
Nice.
That is the most powerful scarecrow as a dead thing in the air. I did. I had a PVAC thing out here. That was cool. Hang up there. And I tell you, man, they don't come anymore because they know this is not a safe place to die.
Like, they'll kill you. Don't go
Yeah,
there.
Neighborhood. You don't want to do this.
Yeah, and they're angry because they know about all this food. And they know it's good. And they want it, but they're smart enough to know that if I go up there, I can be killed. You know, so I don't want to risk it.
Not that good.
Yeah. Because scarecrows are stupid because crows are smart. They know that's not real.
Well, I know.
So when
I
they
use
see a dead
owls.
one, they get like, that's real.
I use owls and I try to move them around. And they're smart. The crows are very smart. They know.
And so other birds. You know how you keep cherries in your tree? Birds not getting them? You kill garden snakes and hang them in the tree. The plastic ones, they know are plastic.
Right.
When they see a real one,
Yeah.
they back out. They don't go into it.
They think there's snakes in the tree. Oh, that's smart.
Live ones. I mean, we kill them, but they're real snakes.
Yeah, my plastic owls don't do much.
You don't want that landscape.
We need 4 hours. God bless you. It was, God bless you. I'm so glad I came. Thank you.
I like your garden too.
I'm
It's
so
really
glad
good.
you could come and join my garden. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you, Paul. May God bless you. You're doing a wonderful job. And my daughter will learn from you. She is the master for us.
Awesome. Good for you.
Thank you very much.
Us too. We have to go, Paul. But thank you so much. It's been so great. Maybe you need an apprentice someday?
Well, I always, there's a woman coming here from Israel next month to learn from me. People come from all over the world.
I sold every bit of it.
All right.
Well, I'll be looking for you
In contact. Thank you so much.
So I'm a YouTuber.
Wayne tells me doing pruning, I should do how to prune. See, pruning is an art form. And there's only one culture.
So what happened was, because I've been in
Japanese.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm serious. And here's why. All cultures prune from the outside in. It's a fundamental. The Japanese prune from the inside.
all about vanity and makes between the ears, and then you throw money and resources into your yard to make it
Inside out.
and it doesn't
How's
work.
it greater deal with us?
And it's poisonous and tough.
I love these principles. You see everywhere.
It is.
And they're all spiritualists.
Yeah, I see. God made things so ordinary. He's not complicated. He made things so ordinary. You see these principles.
do coconut shreds work also for
Here's the word.
substitute?
Here's the word. From dust we came, from dust we came. Everything God made was back to earth. No matter what you have.
Oh, you're having a stroke, but they couldn't find anything. And I'm like,
See, he made no waste.
and I'm like,
Yeah, people don't get
anyway,
like Paul said, like,
if you want to see, there's a little bit of a process on how to control weeds on my website. It's garden.com.
are you linked with him at all? Or is
No, I like him though. I came to see him, but I also came to see him. But,
Okay, thank you.
so good luck setting it up and make it easy. Just stack it and
Where's the
walk around.
basil inside
And
the...
if you do it now, it'll be ready when you want it.
Yeah, you can always throw this on.
And then even, get this though, even if you take 4 8-foot 12 by 2 by 12, go out there and hammer it together, or 2 or 3 of them, stack it all up in there and pile whatever you can find in there now, and just walk away. You could do it in 20 minutes. That's all you need. In a year from now, you'll come back and you're like, oh,
We have
it's 3/4 of the way there.
Yeah, so
Just 10 minutes.
So just pound it often.
Just pound it together, some 16 penny nails, throw whatever you can get your hands on, branches, whatever,
Make it.
and then cover it up with grass or pod,
just
whatever.
such an asset to it.
Just layer it and let it go.
And they take up.
I've already done that.
It's like a major push.
Half acre.
Right.
This is everything where he grows is less than
Well,
half an
the
acre.
thing is, at first I think that
I'm to the point where it's like I go out and go, oh my God, what am I going to do with this? And then it's like, honey, take all this to the food bank. Because I literally can't
Well,
keep
last
up.
time we
I
came
give it
to
to the
Paul,
neighbor.
I
People
started
hate to
doing
see
it
me
at
come,
home
here
and
comes the vegetable
it
guy.
didn't yield results, but like, I
want to
It's our
actually be able
food
to
truck.
put it more in line.
It is,
Here's the problem.
and you know,
Basically,
honestly,
you
here's
bought
the
it in
thing.
the
You know,
store,
health
it
wise,
started, so it was poor soil.
I changed my
had
diet and I was
chemical
doing
fertilizer, and it was
everything I
weak.
could. I was going to the
If you
store and
start
buying
that
all this
basically
romaine
yourself in
lettuce
good
and
soil,
nothing
it'll be
changed.
altogether different.
When I started doing this and growing my own
You
stuff,
see, they are what
similar
you eat.
system to
They
this,
were fed chemical fertilizer.
all I did was eat a
They were
salad
growing in
before dinner
vermiculite,
every night.
perlite,
I just walked
and
out,
peat moss,
threw
which
everything
is
in there,
sterile.
ate that
They were
within
kept
the
inside
10,
of
11
the light.
minutes because the enzymes start
All
going away.
unnatural. And when you put them outside the real world, they're weak.
I'm down to
And
3
they can't
medications
handle it.
instead of
Makes
6.
sense. Yeah, these are
And it
serious.
used to
They're
be so
not
bad I
strong
bumped my skin and I
because
bleed.
they were weakened by
So
the
what does that tell you?
Where if you plant that thing in good soil, you
We're in
feed
a
good
broken
water, you bring
system,
it
and
outside,
so the only way I could
take
fix it
off.
is to
It's right.
source my own food in my backyard, live food that
Seems like
I
there's
grew
a
my
trend
way.
going across the whole United
He has
States of
land.
people thinking
It
the
is.
same way.
Yeah.
The people are waking up.
My brother would
Because
ask you straight questions.
honestly,
so it would be
agriculture is the long-term
Let me
systematic
tell you
construction
about what I'm
Yeah, that's
doing here.
In
today.
return-
that,
The soil
like flying over, you could see it.
Yeah, in
destroys
return for a
stupid concept
temporary
of
toxic
missionaries
crop.
going to foreign
We were
countries
flying,
and
we
building
flew here from Ohio, and I was like watching because I remember what you said about
So
looking
this-
at all the topsoil.
Like a desert.
You
Yeah.
come to a
I was
land,
watching, I was like,
you
yeah.
look at the people and you say, let me show
Well,
you
good
how
luck
to
to you.
grow
Take
food
care.
like God does. And you start showing them how to grow food.
So you're gonna hit the
Everything about the gospel is right here.
So you're gonna do like
You
the
don't need
North
a building.
Cascades or?
You can just show them, and you're blessing, you're empowering them, you're teaching them how to be successful and use their land. That's the gospel. It's not in a sterile building sitting in chairs looking at some one guy talking. It's connecting them to life. And that's why God put us in the garden, was to know Him.
So you're sending me a missionary, you know that, right? Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
So you're
People
in
come here from all over the world, and I get agnostics, I get atheists, I get religious. You know what's awesome? Every one of them acknowledge and recognize.
I'm gonna take a walk back to the car if you wanna.
Yeah.
You can't deny it. I found who it is. His first name is Yeshua, and his second name is Prince of Peace. And he likes hanging out here. He's very welcome here. And they can't deny the evidence. I don't care where they're coming from for a view. It's evidence. He's tangible. He's accessible. He's here. And it's awesome.
Yeah. Steve, that was I was sure you would have liked coming out here. Both me. So she's leaving in a few days, Washington. So.
Now, I also teach medical missionary, so then we just started with natural laws of health, God's laws of health, sunshine, water, exercise.
Amen.
But the next thing now is to get them into. Now I want to know how to get them into gardening. But now you have.
You take them to Genesis and you show that's where it all began. And you bring to reality. You can't. I love the scripture. It says, with food and clothing, two things. Food being the first of the list. Therewith be content. God's basically saying all you need in life is food, clothing, shelter. That's all you need. Everything else the Western world's telling you need is a lie. It's a lie. And it causes major clutter, pollution to the earth, and nobody's happy. Well, when you're outside in the garden, you're eating this nutrient-dense food, you'll watch this stuff grow. You're just blessed. You're in health. You feel good. And you realize, this is what I'm here for. This is real. This is tangible. This is so good. Thank you, God. All that other garbage we have never satisfies. It can't. I love God with food and clothing. Therewith be content. That's all you need. Everything else is extra.
Back to the basics.
The basics.
The basic
And it's
basics.
simple, easy, and it's good.
My husband's a retired judge, and he says, they said, you are a farmer? And he said, yes. He said, I wouldn't trade it for anything. So they were laughing. He went from the courthouse to the farm. Now they all come to him now for his food. They all come in.
Because you can't live without food.
Yeah, and the quality and the freshness of it there.
You can have $1 million in your wallet. You have no food, you're going to die.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
You die rich.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Because you have to have food. And I tell people, Bill Gates just lives over the water here from me in Lake Washington. Bill Gates isn't eating food this good. With his billions of dollars, even if he found someone that grew it this well, by the time it gets to him, it's local. It's not this good. I'm living at a quality of life Bill Gates doesn't approach. I love my
Bill
father.
Gates got nothing on you, Paul.
My father is awesome. He is an awesome father. He provides for me the best. The total best. It's awesome.
So why are those trees bent like that?
Because I read the first chapter of Genesis.
where God told me what I was made for. I created you to have dominion over my planet. And you see those trees? Look at the height of my hand right here. You see, this is the height of my trees. When they got that tall, I pruned to a branch going out because I'm not using a ladder. And you're going to serve me. If you look at my trees, they all look like they're bowing over and they're humble. Are you getting it? They look like they're under my dominion. Because they are. Yeah.
Okay.
It's significant. It's real.
So you can really read the Bible just looking at your garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing my best to follow the instructions. We were given an owner's manual for a reason. We need help.
Yeah.
And it's given us very clear instructions. And you should follow them because they work.
God's fingerprint.
Everywhere. Everywhere. I love it. And you see, this is what's so fun about this. It's like you don't need a church. You just go outside because God's all over the place. The gospel's everywhere. And it's so tangible. It's so much better than this stupid building. You know, because it's real.
My project is, what is it? I want to do the sweet potatoes and probably do some herbs. But I've been struggling with neck and vertebrae, cervical problems. But I need to exercise. I need to get out more, get in the sun.
And movement is so important.
So
and live food.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about live food. My wife she's a prophet. She's a seer. She's very direct. And she bought this book. It's a little line up for the character. The title was Alchemize or Die. Alchemize or Die. It's the title of the book.
Yeah, my brother has that.
That's pretty direct.
Yeah.
That man made a statement that changed my life. He said, all pain and all disease comes from acid condition in your body. And so I told Carol, I said, I got a lot of pain. My legs, my back, I was in pain all the time. He said, I can test that. So I came home and I ate nothing from the store. I ate everything from the season I ate here. And all the pain totally left. What was awesome, how God validated me. I'm over in Seattle one day with one of my friends. Oh, there's this awesome Chinese restaurant. You ever come with us? And it's so good. And so I went, not realizing what I'm doing. The next morning, all the pain was back. And I totally connected the dots. Like, yeah, I get it. And I've been pain-free for 24 years. It is so fun to be pain-free. I love God. Because nutrient-dense food in season alchemizes your body and pain can't live with it.
You said dense food.
Nutrient-dense.
Nutrient-dense food in season.
In season. That's God's order. And again, if you look at nature, here's what I tell people, is all the animals in nature, you see, we're in the classification of mammals. All the mammals in nature carry no health insurance, go to no doctors, they have no refrigerators, no stoves, go to no stores, and they live long, healthy, disease-free lives. Why? Because they eat food fresh in season where they live. Nothing's important. Are you following?
Yeah, that's
Steve. I'm just telling you, pay attention. They're mammals. They're just like us. And they never get sick. They take no drugs. They go to no doctors. They have no refrigerator, no stove. And they just live well and don't get sick. We do all this stuff and get sick. And I'm telling you, if we're paying attention, my people perish, the word says, for lack of knowledge. We're not paying attention.
That's your dog.
Yeah.
So what does the dog eat?
The dog eats carrots, beets, kale, all my fruits.
I fed him a carrot earlier.
Did you?
So I can
My dog
verify
is
that
a
he eats
vegetarian.
carrots.
Well, see, that's what my husband keeps saying. Dogs are not vegetarian. And our dog was so pitiful. So
Tell
that's
your
why I
dad
want to know.
tell your husband this. This is the word. I asked God about this whole issue of meat, and he showed me where it all started. You see, God is love. That's his essence. God is love. Love would never kill an innocent animal like food for someone else. Love wouldn't do that. And he showed me the first time an animal was killed was a man's sin, because out of the shedding of blood was on vicious sin. So God killed an innocent animal to make a covenant for our sin. Preserve his animal. Now when Jesus comes back in the millennium for the next 1,000 years, it says in Acts chapter 3, he's going to restore everything as it was in the beginning. In the millennium, even the predators in nature will not eat meat. you look at the statistics, the lifespan of the human race prior to the fall was 930 years average.
Yes.
930. After the fall, people went down to 120.
Yeah, I always tell people, God gave you meat to shorten your miserable life. But the dog, I want to get back to the dog though. He eats the raw.
My dog eats everything out of my garden. No, the only thing she eats is not vegan is eggs, because I give her eggs and she likes those. But otherwise, she's a vegan. She's nothing but live food in my garden.
And you don't cook it?
No, they pick it themselves. She pulls the carrots. She picks the pears. They eat. They know how to eat. And what's so cool is you see your poor dog waits for you to give him this dead food in a container twice a day.
Yeah.
But my dog, whenever it's hungry, just walks out in the garden and eats because it's convenient, and they have such an enjoyable, good life. But I'm just, if you look at, here's the reality. Dog food did not exist until the Industrial Revolution. You know the Bible talks about dog food? The Bible discusses dog food. Really. Let me share it with you. Jesus is taking a vacation with the disciples. They've been very busy and they want a break. So they go to Syrophoenicia to get away from the Jews. So they have a break. So the Syrophoenician woman comes up to him with a demon-possessed daughter and says, Jesus, she healed my daughter. And Jesus says, listen, I was sent to the Israelites. I can't do this. And she said this. He said, the Israelites referred to the Samaritans as dogs because they're half-breeds. They're half Jewish and half Gentile. And they call them dogs. And she makes a statement. But Jesus, the little dog, is eating the crumbs that fall from the table. My daughter is a little dog from the Jewish perspective. And Jesus saw that faith and healed her. But that was reality. Dogs ate what was left over, what fell from the table. That was dog food. The normal food you ate, they ate. What fell from the table, they got. That's dog food. The Bible talks about dog food. Because that's how it always was.
So Victor,
and if you look at dogs today, they have cancer like we do.
I'm going to give Susie vegetarian now.
Because dogs eat the same kind of food we do. They have cancer now.
Yeah.
Paul, do you have beets?
Yeah.
Oh man, you weren't here in the beginning.
On your way out.
Paul has beets.
On your way out.
Rennie was.
When you park.
Yeah.
You go to the end of my garden. You'll see a whole bed of beets. And I want you to and even blow your mind.
So, because we don't grow beets over there, so what do they need to?
Can they work in a tropical?
You can grow beets anywhere.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm seeing. You can see this black cohosh. That only grows in shade.
Yeah, I came when you were talking about that.
Are you hearing me? I mean, a naturopathic doctor was here last week who travels the United States going to her gardens because she uses those in the practice and she's just totally blown away at how poor quality they are. They're terrible quality. And she says, I have never, ever seen black cohosh like this. Ever. It's never this big or this healthy. She's blown away. And she's going to herb farms that do this for a living. And nothing even approaches it. I'm just telling you, man, God made everything good. He doesn't have limitation. And the word can't is not part of his vocabulary. And we need to get it. We need to understand who our Father is and start walking in faith, because that pleases him. And just say, God, where should I plant this? How should I do this? Just follow the instructions and go for it. And be blessed. Because all the stuff you were told are lies. All of it.
So this would be a good faith practice.
You know what's interesting about this woman? She's a believer. You know why she's here?
The naturopath you're talking about?
She's a believer.
Okay.
And she's crying out to God. God, I can't with a clear conscience be giving this stuff to my clients because it's not good.
It's not good.
How can I get good food? God told her, you have to grow it. God told you to grow it. So she's crying out to him. I don't know how to grow stuff. So this prophet comes up to her. Prophet tells her, you need to find a master at growing food in the country. So she gets on the internet and she finds me. She drove all the way out from South Carolina to come here. So I'm telling you, man, God is totally on this.
Well, it just brought me from West Africa, so.
That's a commute. I thought coming from LA was a long way, but it's like
okay. Yesterday. Okay. A couple from Kenya.
Okay. Wow, and they are farmers. Kenya.
Yeah. There's a couple here yesterday from Kenya, and then the day before, someone came from Norway, and a woman's coming here shortly from Japan. Husband and wife. And people are coming here from all over the world. I love it.
So you don't really have to go with the gospel. They come to you.
Can I tell you how fun it is to work with God? You're gonna love it. You know how I qualify to use? You know how I qualify to use by God? That's my point. Because to the world, I'm totally foolish. I have no education. I've been to no schooling. I'm a recluse. I go nowhere. I know no one. I have no cell phone. I have no computer. And God put me in a position to impact the world. I love it. It's so totally outside the box. It completely confuses the natural mind. And it's so fun. Because I don't have to do anything. And then after someone spends $60,000 to make this film, someone comes here and writes a book for me.
For him.
Yeah,
He wrote a biography for me. And now
So
it's sold out. It's on eBay, Amazon, and people just and he's doing another edition. And there's one group that homeschools. He's going to buy 1,000 copies to sell to homeschool parents.
I'm an Amazon fan,
I'm
so
just
I
telling
definitely
you, man.
look for it.
God makes it so easy. I didn't even imagine this. I didn't even ask for it. And he just did it all. And it's so fun. I get so blessed. I get to do this every Sunday. And people just come from all over the world. And you know what's so hilarious? My wife is she's a seer. She's a prophet. I love my wife because she sees. And for years she's been telling me, you know, God, God's going to find him. You're a recluse. God's going to find him. You know what's hilarious? She's in China. She's in Siberia. She's in Israel. All over the world. And people know me.
He doesn't come on your
Okay.
And she I told you, God's going to find everywhere I go, they know you.
They know you.
I said, I told you, God's going to find you.
So she goes with your credentials.
She travels because she's a teacher. I mean, this is just what God has ever taught. She's very direct. The government in China paid her to come to teach their doctors how to little babies. They're doctors, MDs. And she's an untrained midwife. No schooling. So she's going there, she's using her PowerPoint, she's showing her these doctors how she does births. These doctors are flipping out saying, Carol, can you show us how to do that? Because it's so easy. See, doctors are trained to deal with complications of intervention. They don't know the next. So she says, well, take me to the hospital. And so she goes to the hospital and she's just angry. She's got these poor women tired of these. Get her off that table. That's not supposed to have a baby. So she's got this woman squatting her table. And they're hugging. They can't believe these amazing simple births. And so this one baby comes out with a cord on it. The doctor's all go, get the water ready. So Carol says, stop that. You're scaring the woman. Just step back and watch. Here she's a foreigner in their hospitals before it takes charge because she knows who she is. And she's just not, just step back. Get out of my way.
My first son was born in Sierra Leone by a midwife. Although there were doctors there, but fortunately the doctor didn't make it to the hospital in time. He was born natural birth. The second son was born here in the U.S., cesarean.
It's evil. Yeah. It's evil. And so she just very naturally took the cord over the head, over the shoulders, and put the baby on the mom's stomach. These doctors stand in the mouth. We never knew you could do that. Because they're never trained to deal with the natural. They're only trained to deal with complications of intervention. They don't know the
And they tell them if anything go wrong, they're going to sue you. Yeah. So they immediately...
They freak out, do cesarean. And you know what's so evil about cesarean? This is so powerful how God made the human body. As the baby is growing in the mother's womb, it has no gut flora. It's not there. It doesn't exist in the baby's body. As the baby is coming down the mother's birth canal, the fluid in the birth canal, the baby takes into his mouth, and that seeds and begins the gut flora. As the baby is breastfed, so babies born by cesarean have no gut flora. And you wonder why all these babies have allergies or all sick? Because they were born by cesarean and never had gut flora put into their bodies. God, I'm telling you, God made things so perfect, so totally perfect. And any part you intervene and mess with is a major conflict.
That's why you ask him rather than asking the expert.
Because he knows everything. You know what the Bible tells us? You have not because you don't ask. He made it so simple. He says, call on me, I'll answer you, show you great mighty things. In all your ways acknowledge me. I mean, it's all over the book. why people hear my voice and nobody asks.
Well, I saw a little of you video on YouTube yesterday. I'm just happy to be here, and I promise you that there will be fruits from what you said when I go back.
Oh, thank you, God. And you're going to so love it because God is so faithful to His word.
Yeah, no, I really believe that,
He's faithful.
and you just confirming, giving me more courage to, like you say, listen and
share.
take confidence that He does have a better way, even though we may not know it. But He does have a
And to
better way.
me, this is such a demonstration to share the gospel. Because I don't care where you're coming from. I had this woman come from Norway who introduced herself to me. She came all the way from Norway. I love it. And so I always tell people, well, that's cool. We'll have a good time today. She didn't leave till 9 o'clock that night because she could not take herself away from the I kept telling her all day long, God's going to get you.
Well, see, you were telling her the truth.
Yeah.
And
she was getting it.
Yeah.
And she's experiencing
and
she
resist
couldn't
it.
resist it. Yeah. And I says, God's going to get you. You're just being drawn to His goodness. He's all over the place. You know, I love it, man. It's just like,
what is that over there? That petal that's on the ground in front of the lavender. That's down.
it's some herb. There's a lot here I don't know. My wife that uses all these for in the practice.
Okay.
But they're all medicinal herbs. This one here is one I just already use.
Because I sell books of herb books, but all of them, we don't have them there. We don't have all the herbs. So when I have a chance to see them,
when you start growing stuff, when you start connecting with your Father, you're going to find there's no cancer with God. This is, the book says, grow in full shade. This is south-facing full sun. This is the exact opposite. Totally right. I love God. And here's the word that comes to me. He calls those things that are not as though they are. I love that. God calls those things in the book as though they are. I love Him. He's the best. And so there's just no limitation in God. You just do whatever He leads you to do and just have faith. It's going to work. Because He's above all that. And you see, this is such a demonstration to the world. I mean, all these unbelievers can't deny this. They can't deny what I'm saying because they know what the book says. And they have this evidence in their face that shows,
I'll be 66 this week, so you've given me another lease on life.
You got it. You got it.
So I can see what I need to be doing.
Exactly.
Send me an email with info, and then you can ship me, I don't know, I could probably just ship one if you have a P.O. box, and then they'll go, hey,
thank you very much.
Just pick it
so
up.
welcome. Bless you.
Would you mind if I offer you a suggestion, if I may, Paul? I came across Paul almost 5 years ago now on the YouTube video. I own a construction company in Los Angeles, and we're blessed to be about 100 people, pretty good sized company. What I found was, if you don't mind, I let Paul do the heavy lifting when I'm trying to get someone to understand this message. Because the girls did such a good job really capturing your essence and your passion of what's going on here. When I tried to do that myself, I realized I was woefully inadequate to get someone to understand what I was even talking about in what this guy is a master at. Which is why when you look him up in the dictionary under master, there he is. Send people to my recommendation, the video, the Back to Eden itself, because if they get that, then the rest can flow, and then you can have a conversation. But I always let you do the heavy lifting, and I've got hundreds of my customers have plugged in because I just did that, and I let you do all the work that's already been created.
Yeah, no, like for them, when I have a meeting, I definitely am, they're going to see him.
Of course, they're probably recording too, but any technology that gives you everything can also.
You are. You're out of control that way.
Yes.
Out of control.
And you know what's so hilarious? I did none of it.
I know. It's great.
I got nothing to do with it. I didn't do this.
Because your heart's in the right place.
God's awesome. They say He's so fun to work with. He does all the work. And He's so effective. He's really.
It's almost cheating. It's almost cheating, but it's not.
This is so fun. It's just like, oh, I love it.
Yeah. Very inspiring.
Okay, so we're headed out.
Well, bless you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And I just want to encourage you that you had a God encounter today, and He's going to really bless you, and this is going to really multiply.
So you're a prophet too, huh?
I'm just a seer. I can't be blind. I know today was not a coincidence. And here's the scripture. Everyone knows 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if any man will be in Christ, a new creation, old things have passed away, will all become new. What's the next statement?
That's crazy. Actually, I've been in that chapter and I just went blank.
You know why you went blank? Because that statement is so powerful, Satan doesn't want you to get it. Because when you get there, it changes your life.
That's 2 Corinthians
5:17. The next statement is, and now all things are of God, who has reconciled us to himself to Jesus Christ and given to us the ministry of reconciliation.
Yeah.
When you get in your spirit that all things are of God, it changes your whole view of life. To the believer, there's no such thing as a coincidence and accident.
All things
All
work out
things
to
are of
the
God.
good.
And when you start getting that, that totally changes how you view life. God is going to look bad, but you're in it, and you're working all things together for good. So I'm believing you have to say,
It's hard to see
it
that.
changes everything. There's no point. Why am I here? This is of God. All things are of God. You are here because of God. This is because of God. All things are of God. Yeah. It's huge.
That is true. That is
It's huge.
Oh, for your neck.
Yeah. I do well to stand up this long. But anyway, thank you very much. And we will be watching you, even though you will not see me, but I'll be watching you.
But what I want to encourage you, you were given the Holy Spirit that Jesus said will lead you to all truth. So as you're in the garden, you're contemplating, you say, Father, how would you approach this? What would you do here? And you listen to what he showed you. It's huge. It's so huge. And he tells you right up front you have not because you don't ask. He just wants us to ask. He's such a father. He will never overstep us.
Free will.
Free will. He gives us free choice. And if we don't ask,
Yeah, that's been amazing to me that he actually can see you struggling. And he can watch you there.
And not do anything because he honors free moral agency.
Yeah, but as soon as you say, ask him, then...
It's like he says, I've been wanting to help you. I wish you'd asked sooner.
You have not because you asked not.
The word says it so plainly. And what's so incredible, we read that, and we don't get it. And what I find is, a father, if you have children, you guys have children? I do not. So your kids...
Well, that's all I have for this video. Bang around that bell icon if you want to be notified when new videos come out. Call us on the hotline if you have comments or questions and want to be featured in an upcoming video. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe. Check us out on the website, and we'll see you guys on the next one.